What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Brandawg's broadcast, I think I'm calling it. Don't have a proper intro yet, but this is a special occasion because we have on Gabriel Oliver, who you might recognize if you've seen like any of my videos. You've been like in 3 or 4 of them at least now. It's been quite a few.
Yeah. Hopefully more. Hopefully more in the future.
Yeah, dude. How you doing? Would you like to say a few things about yourself? Sorry for this shitty, podcast request that everybody has. I feel like they always ask that question.
It's necessary with podcasts, right? I've been trying to get into more film interview stuff, which means I've been trying to check out more podcasts, and it's the same in all of them, no matter how professional it is. Like even someone like Roger Deakins, even he has the awkward intros.
Every podcast I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, no, it's necessary. But yeah, so I'm Gabriel Oliver. I'm an independent filmmaker. I tried to become like an independent studio filmmaker, based in London right now. I do YouTube on the side, although that's kind of had to take a hiatus right now. I do all sorts from minor game development stuff to try to be involved in some animation stuff to anything all about just really happy to be here. I'm always looking for more media stuff to do, so I was more than happy to accept being invited onto a podcast with one of my favorite video essayists.
Oh, thank you, dude, and I'm happy to have you here, honestly, because it's already not easy for us to get to talk sometimes because you're very busy, and we obviously have very different schedules and time differences. It's at 6 a.m. right now for me, and it's like the middle of the afternoon for you.
Yeah, it's 1 p.m. for me. I had my lunch like 2 hours ago.
I'm still having my coffee. It's not easy for us to get to talk sometimes.
Yeah, it's the way it's got. Just don't get fed to any video essays in Australia. You'd have to flip your sleep schedule to make that work.
Oh, that would be crazy too. Let us know a little bit more about that. Then we were just talking about it before you started, but you just wrapped. You're almost done wrapping production on a short film right now, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm producing a short film. It's my first go at producing anything that wasn't just like a thing I was doing creatively as well. So I'm only a producer and creative exec on this one, but it's coming out really, really well. It's got a phenomenal script, a bunch of independent filmmakers at my university. We all got together, came for this 4-page, so maybe like up to 6 minutes. Our final production day is Monday, but we've done the majority of it. Yesterday was a massive all-day shoot. I think it was like 12 hours, but we did have 2-hour breaks in there because I'm not a harsh producer. I'm not going to work people to the bone.
I'm not completely.
But yeah, it's coming out really well. It's quite the character study about the perception of relationships over time, specifically in regards to power dynamics and the way that has changed everything. It's written by. I mean, I'm obviously biased because I chose to produce the script, but I do think it's written and directed by someone who is going to make it to the industry for sure. Lucy Solinger is a phenomenal director-writer. DOP we got for it, Elliot Swan, was my first choice, and then when I found out it was Lucy's first choice, I was extremely excited because it meant I didn't have to push for anyone. And everyone involved is absolutely phenomenal. I will be posting about it on all of my shit, whether it's a YouTube community tab, which I actually managed to figure out how that works, or Twitter or Blue Sky or Instagram. Instagram will probably be the one that it's the most on because a lot of my uni stuff is handled on Instagram. But yeah, and then we'll try and make it do the festival circuit, some small independent festivals, and yeah, it'll be awesome.
That's sweet, dude. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear that it's going so well too. I'll definitely have to pay attention to your post about it because I'm interested to see. Do you think it's going to have some kind of release where somewhere I'll be able to watch it anyway at some point in the future, or is it just going to be
unfortunately, film festivals were a little bit archaic in that if you have a public release, it's you get disqualified from tons of festivals. But once we think that it's done its festival run and we don't want to push it any further, we'll just put it online. So maximum a year from now, we'll just put it online. And then everyone can watch it because it's something that sucks about the industry right now. It's something that our uni has had to brief us on constantly. Of no, you can't put it online if you want this to go to festivals. You can put it online, but the majority of festivals are just going to ditch you immediately. I don't fully know the politics behind it. It's something I'm going to be looking into once the film is actually wrapped and we have a production edit and everything. But yeah, so it will eventually be out on absolutely everything, and then people can see it, because I would really like it to be accessible to everyone.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think that's really important for fans of film nowadays. It's very hard to afford subscriptions to a billion streaming services,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I'll probably just go onto a YouTube or something.
Yeah, that's a good way to get it out there, is especially as like a short film too. There's so many good short films on YouTube posted all the time. But I didn't actually know
Oh, fully, yeah.
that they can just disqualify you if you're like, oh yeah, we plan on releasing this on the internet in a few months. They'll be like, ah, these bastards.
Yeah, I don't know either. I guess it's like a archaic like anti-piracy thing or something. Like a
Mm,
lot of I've been looking into like going to film festivals, and a lot of it is like really back in time. Like Cannes is like one of the big ones. They do it in France every year, and a lot of screenings are like really archaic black tie events.
right.
Like if you go to like a premiere screening at Cannes and you're not in black tie, you get turned away at the door. And it's like quite strict as well. I was reading a story about how someone was in a suit, but they had like quite smart casual sneakers on because they
Right.
wanted like comfortable footwear, because they were also going to other films in the day. They got denied at the door for not wearing formal shoes. It was ridiculous.
That is
And apparently they've been quite bad with like gender restrictions as well.
Oh,
So
really?
hopefully, but I think that at least when it comes to film community stuff, we are coming to an end for that kind of thing. Um, I
Yeah.
don't think that'll be around for too much longer.
Yeah, hopefully. That is pretty intense. I don't even know what I would do if I went all the way there for a festival, just for them to be
Yeah.
like, oh, you can't even come in. Sorry. Maybe next
Yeah,
time.
but then there's tons of like smaller festivals, which will be what we're looking to for this film. I don't want to pay the $300 submission to Cannes and they get beat out by a guy on £1 million to make his movie.
Yeah.
Like, so we'll be submitted to quite smaller things where we can turn up in our hoodies and sweatpants that we filmed in.
You don't want to get beat out by some like rich dude's kid or whatever who just got into the film festival because he had money. It's like the most predictable short film you've ever seen.
Oh, I've seen that so many times. I had the absolute privilege to do a school trip to Bali, like years ago now. Like one of the most formative film things of my life. But only one film there didn't have studio backing that we saw.
Jesus.
And they all had like massive sets and like heavy opportunity to shoot over and over again. Like there was this film called Hito, which was phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but like had so much backing behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Had a really good studios, and the craft of it was phenomenal. Like Hito is still doing festival circuits now, like 3 years later. But I hope that comes out on YouTube afterwards so I can show it to people. Because
Yeah.
it was absolutely cracking, but like there's no way in hell that a bunch of students can make anything that will compete with it.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's hard to it's tough out there with that kind of stuff, man. It seems like a lot of people just a lot I can't imagine how many like great filmmakers go pretty much unnoticed in their career just because it's so hard to break into the industry, you know? It's so hard to
Yeah.
get your name out there, even if you like. I see that all the time on YouTube videos, even where people will say like, "This is so good. How come this channel only has like 800 subs?" And it's like, unfortunately,
Yeah.
quality doesn't dictate success most of the time.
No, it really, really doesn't. Like appeal dictates success.
Yeah.
The quality is really quite different. And also marketing as well. Like
Hmm.
talking to at my uni, we've had a chance to actually have like some quite veteran industry people come in. On average, like it used to be on average that about like double a film's budget goes into its marketing. So you spend 150. So say your film costs you £150. Normally, in marketing will be another £150.
Yeah.
And like so on and so forth, like all the way to you in like millions and millions and millions of pounds. But apparently it's looking like, especially if you're independent, that you should actually only put a third of your money into the film and then 2/3 into marketing, because it's just so hard to break through. So you'd want to do more expensive marketing so that you could be seen by more people, and then maybe like say 1% of the people who see your ad watch the film,
Yeah.
put more money
Yeah.
into it. Hopefully more 1% will turn up.
Marketing is super tough, man. in general, especially when you have when you're an indie production like that. It's really hard to get it out there. You just kind of have to post it on a bunch of
Yeah.
social medias and stuff. Like, hey, check this out.
Yeah,
like
it's the one part of filmmaking I absolutely know I never want to be a part of, really.
like I think I know that Loverboy Media, that YouTuber, if you know him, just made like a short film like a few months back. Actually, probably like 6 months back at this point. But it barely got any views on the trailer because it's not his traditional content, and it's just like that shit always kind of sucks to see because it's like I know that he probably worked really hard on that. Probably wanted more people to have eyes on that, and only got like 2,000 views, which is good for an indie trailer though, because that means at least there's probably going to be at least a good handful of people in that 2,000 who actually go out of their way to check it out, which is good.
Yeah.
As advertising's just really hard though. It's really hard to actually get people interested in something. It's usually the most you can get is like, oh yeah, that seems interesting, I might check it out, and then they completely forget to do it at some point.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that quite a bit. I've started to make lists now in like a notebook, so that way I'm not going to lose them ever. So that way, if
Oh,
I'm like home and I've got like 20 minutes to kill, I can just
I've always
consult
been really
this
bad
notebook
about
I've
that
got.
too. People are like, oh, you should read this, and I'm like, okay, I will, and it's just like years go by. I still haven't
Yeah.
gotten around to it just yet.
But it's inevitable. Creatives are I don't know. So someone said it a while ago, and I wish I could quote them on it. But like, creatives are always too busy to consume creative works, right? Which I don't know how true that is. Like I've met, I think there's always time to like consume a little bit, but there's not a creative that I know. Like take the film industry. There's no creative I know who's watching as many films as they did when they were younger. There's no game designer I know who's playing as many games as they did when I was younger.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
maybe Hideo Kojima.
You
Because
just-
he's
yeah.
got too much free time.
Yeah, clearly I follow him on Instagram, and he'll just like all the time he'll post like random movies or games that he's into at the time. You know, he won't even say things about it. Sometimes it'll just be a picture of like the cover of the movie, and it's like,
Yeah.
he saw this movie. Cool, good to know. Did you ever see his Twitter?
I follow him on everything.
His
I follow
Twitter
him on everything.
Oh, dude, his Twitter
His
movie
Twitter
reviews.
reviews are good.
His Twitter movie reviews killed me because you could tell if he liked a movie or not just based on his tweets, where he would be like, saw Aquaman today. And that's all he would say. You'd be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, he only
really
talks
did.
about shit that he really likes. The only time that I've ever seen him give a negative review was he watched the new Captain America 4.
Oh, no.
And he didn't really get it. I wonder, he didn't really explain why. I think it may just be that he just doesn't watch. Oh, no, he said it's because he wasn't able to watch the show. So he thought that he just didn't get it because he hadn't watched the show. Little did he know, the movie is just not very good.
Yeah, he's saying no. He's giving it a bit of the doubt. He's like, no, it's probably a good movie. It's just I don't get it. Obviously, there's no other reason.
Bless him.
God, I still
He's
haven't
very
seen
good.
that movie yet, though. But I have.
I've
It's
seen
been
it-
harder to pay
I've seen
attention
it,
to
but,
Marvel these days.
It really, really is. I've made an effort to catch up on all of it while I was over Christmas, while I was away with my dad, because those were movies that I could watch with him. My dad's not going to sit down and watch Amelie with me, but he'll watch a Marvel movie that I'm behind on, or a Marvel show that I'm behind on. So I'm almost caught up. I think I'm missing 1 or 2 shows. I haven't seen new Daredevil yet.
Yeah, me neither. But
I'll
I'm
get around
curious
to it.
about that. I've
I'm
had some
curious
things
about it, but
spoiled
also
for
I'm really
me.
disappointed that it exists. I
Yeah.
think Daredevil Season 3 is one of the most sound endings of anything. So I really wanted Daredevil to just kind of be a cameo character from now on, or have a different kind of villain. But knowing that it's him, knowing that it's Fisk,
Yeah, it
It's
just
just
kind of
kinda
feels like
depresses
Daredevil
me.
2.0.
yeah,
It's just gonna, even at its best, it's gonna be a less good version of something we already got.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I do love what it's Vincent D'Onofrio, right? Is Kingpin? He's phenomenal, and I really loved him in the shows that he's appeared in. He saved Hawkeye for me. I was really sleeping through Hawkeye. I liked it. I thought it was funny, but I was feeling nothing. It was just on, and I was just watching it, and there were shapes and colors.
You tell
And
me
then
you
Kingpin
weren't
came on, and I was
feeling
fucking awake.
emotions for Jeremy Hawkeye Renner.
And that sucks because I think Jeremy Hawkeye Renner has had really good emotional stuff. The speech in Age of Ultron is one of the best scenes in that movie. Where Like, they're really setting him up to die the entire movie, and I think it's really well done. I think Age of Ultron gets a little bit too much shit, although it does get a lot of deserved shit.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's
But
like
all the
there's
Hawkeye
no
stuff I
denying
thought
that
was
it's fun
banging.
to watch at least though. That's a
Which is
very
better
fun
than I can
movie.
say for some MCU stuff.
Yeah, some stuff is just
Like,
fucking dreadful to get through. Any of the I can't stand the first two Thor movies, honestly. Or
I'm fine with the first two Thor movies, but I will never rewatch them on my own.
no, yeah, it's like you gotta if someone else puts it on type of thing. Well, I guess I don't. It's not like I hate them or something. I just get so bored watching them because they feel
Yeah,
so
they are.
predictable and
They are a
slow.
lot. Yeah.
Thor 4 was
So,
just
yeah,
straight
the-
up
the-
bad though. That was crazy.
Yeah, 4-4 was bad. I thought 4-4 was like the perfect opposite of the first two Thor movies, where the first two Thor movies might be quite good in quality, but they are quite dry and boring, where the Thor 4 movie I thought was quite fun, but was a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was a very good movie, but it had decent jokes and decent humour, and it was quite colourful, and
Yeah,
everyone worked on it quite hard, although
Taika
Christian Bale
Waititi was
being
asleep at the
wasted
wheel
like
with that one, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Even he admits, like, a really good thing about when I had Disney Plus, I had my stepdad's Disney Plus, and then I don't have it anymore, and I can't ask him for it back. He no, the best thing about it was that they every single new production on Disney Plus has like a documentary behind it,
Right.
and watching tons of them, they're quite like corporate. Like the Captain America Winter Soldier one in particular is rough because it's very they don't talk about any of the issues that they had during production. They're only talking about the good stuff.
Of course. They don't want
But the 4-4 one is like almost a naked in how much it. Like, even Chris Hemsworth is like, I don't know if we made a phenomenal movie during this, but we learned a lot of lessons. I'm like, that's the end of the documentary where you've just finished making the movie?
Yeah, I don't think that movie was very good, but you know, we did it.
Like, obviously it's not said as plainly as that, but you definitely get that atmosphere and vibe as the documentary
didn't
goes
he
on
kinda
further and
say-
further into production.
Didn't he kind of say that that's why he wanted to do a fifth Thor? Still, was that he feels kind of like the fourth one is a bit just underwhelming as a conclusion for like his,
Yeah, I
his
definitely don't think
franchise.
it's a phenomenal conclusion. But isn't he confirmed for Avengers 7 or 6?
I think so. Like, I don't think he's done yet, but like he doesn't want that to be the last solo movie he gets anyway. For that reason, he feels a little bit
Maybe.
let
I don't
down
know.
by it. I think.
It depends on the way that it goes. Like, I don't know. Thor is a character that, especially in the MCU, has worked best in a team, I think. Like, the best part of Thor Ragnarok is the fact that he's always with Loki, or always with Valkyrie, or always with Korg. Like, that's why it's so good.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's there's certain characters who just work better in the Avengers movie than they do on their own, which is fine. You know, some characters are just like that.
Yeah.
Some characters are better as supporters, and they don't really. Not every single person needs their own solo movie. I think people have been saying that for fucking
Tell
years
that
now.
to Feige. Tell that to Feige.
No, literally,
Um,
dude. Tell that to any of the Sony executives. Didn't Craven kill that franchise last year? Actually, wasn't that like the final nail in the coffin?
Oh my god. Nothing is as phenomenal an experience as taking an edible and dragging a bunch of film students to Venom 3 The Last Dance
no.
and Kraven the Hunter.
I can't imagine what that was like because I was sober watching Craven and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
It was incredible because if you're not enjoying the movie and you're bored, look around and bask in the reactions. A girl,
reactions
like
of
a
confusion.
classmate of mine had fallen asleep and fell asleep onto my shoulder during Venom 3. Julia at the end, who was lovely and polite, turned into the worst cinema goer I've ever seen. Kept checking her phone to like just be spared of this fucking movie.
Just couldn't force themselves to care anymore. They were like, oh, fucking. I
Yeah,
can't.
which is honest. I respect it so much. Like in any other movie, I'd leave it and I'd be like, "Oh, why don't fucking check your phone at the cinema." But with this one, I was like, "Nah, it's fine. It's Venom 3."
Yeah, it's Venom 3. I still haven't seen that one yet because I'm nervous.
It's nothing. Like it's so nothing.
That's what my
There's like
friend
it.
told
It's
me.
funny to meme.
My friend Riley watched it because I think it came on Netflix or something recently, and I was like, "How was it?" And he was like, "Ah." He's like, "I don't remember a single thing that happened in that movie, and I just watched it a week ago." I'm like,
Yeah,
is it really like
like
that kind of movie, just that forgettable?
it does try quite a few things, but it tries them in a very like weightless way. It feels like the entire movie has no gravity. Like there's some interesting stuff if I explained it to you, but if I explain it to you the way the movie does, you would just glaze over.
Right. That's an interesting way to summarize it, though. It just feels like it has no gravity. I almost feel like you could say that for, excuse me, most of those Sony verse movies or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I think Venom 2 was the only one that had anything to it.
A lot of them, I liked Venom 2 also. I thought that one was like plain stupid fun because it's like you have to go in knowing what they were going for. Just like,
Yeah.
this is a stupid movie. It's meant to be funny and entertaining. It's like the perfect shitty 90s Venom comedy movie. And I'm here for it, honestly. It's the only Venom movie I really liked. But like something like Morbius, to me, just feels like what you said as well, no gravity, but it also feels like it almost feels like something a little kid would come up with, just like on the spot, just sitting there going like, and then this would happen, and then this would happen, and then this would happen in
Yeah,
my movie.
and then storytelling is the
Yeah,
kryptonite of the superhero genre right
yeah,
now. I
exactly.
fucking hate it so much. It like Secret Invasion suffered from that really badly. Normally the MCU is able to get away from it. Like I thought She-Hulk was. Well, I think a lot of people had issues with She-Hulk because of like preferences more than quality. I think She-Hulk was quite fresh, and if that kind of show and that kind of humor is your thing, I thought it was quite good. The
Right.
CGI was rough, but I'd much rather have the CGI be rough than the workers go through shit.
Yeah,
So
yeah. People
I'm
never
really
really think
easily
about that these days.
yeah. I'm really easily willing to look past bad CGI. I don't know why people make such a big deal out of it. If it's not like a Transformers movie, does it really need phenomenal CGI? Does the Hulk really need to look like he's there perfectly? Everyone knows he's not real.
Yeah,
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people can go back and watch movies with shitty special effects and have a phenomenal time.
yeah. That's like part of
Like,
the charm
it
sometimes. Like nobody's going to Spy Kids because they're like, this is some groundbreaking VFX work right here. Part of
Yeah,
the
but Spy
charm is
Kids
that it
has a
looks
lot
like,
of fans nowadays. Like, I've been meeting people, like, especially international people. There's a lot of international people at my uni, and they've been getting into, like, more, like, British and American kids media, because I
hmm
guess it just is different depending on what part of
they're getting
Europe
into the
or
Robert
the
Rodriguez
Netherlands you're
verse
from.
right now. Shark Boy in Lava
Yeah,
Girl
well,
and all that.
I can't break the news to any of them that it's all in the same connected universe as, like, Machete and,
I forget about
yeah.
that. Oh, fuck, that's so funny. I actually
But
enjoy some of
also,
his
it's got
movies
some
quite a
banger
lot.
lines. But Robert Rodriguez is a phenomenal filmmaker. He's just
hmm
also an insane man.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly, I respect the hustle to just be like, I'm gonna make this movie specifically for my kid, even if it's a piece of shit movie. Like, who cares?
I
Imagine
do
getting a
respect it
movie
a
from your
lot.
dad that he made for you, voice crack, but that'd be so fucking crazy.
No, it is. It
But
is.
I've always just
Robert Rodriguez
respected.
has they're all on YouTube. He's got this thing called 10 Minute Film School. It's actually really good. Like it's all on YouTube now. They used to be
I
like
didn't know
parts of
that. Like, does
Blu-rays.
he do like lessons on film stuff type thing?
Lessons on film stuff, especially because his background is really guerrilla, right? Like, if I remember right, oh god, what is his first film? But like part of that first film, so much of it is like faking that you have more money than you do,
Mm-hmm.
like false perspective tricks, and he
Oh
only
yeah.
uses really like short bursts of film. So you think that he's cutting around like, oh, he had tons of film. No, he just planned it out so thoroughly. So like I'd recommend if you ever are thinking of doing like a practical shoot and you've got either like limited SD cards or limited film stock, or if you can afford film stock, or limited time as well. It ended up making his shoots go a lot quicker. Like is the 10 minute film school stuff is really good. I've only seen a few of them, but I do want to watch more. And they because he's just very practical and hands on, and I feel like that is like he's got some really good lessons from that. And luckily, I believe he made all of them before he went insane making kids movies. So
Oh hell yeah! I actually had to check that out. That sounds cool. Like I didn't know that he did that. That kind of reminds me of like David F. Sandberg has that YouTube channel. You know what I'm talking about?
yes, yeah. I follow David F. Sandberg. I really love his stuff.
Yeah, I like
Really
him.
love
I
it.
feel so fucking bad for all this shit that Until Dawn's getting right now. Like I kind of understand where the fans are coming from, on obviously because it's like the movie they're making does seem nothing like the game. I haven't played it though, but like the game that they really like and all that. But they are being pretty fucking nasty about it.
Yeah.
They're like, this is just a greedy thing that the filmmaker's doing so that he can have an excuse to get his shitty movie in front of everybody. And it's like fucking, it's not that deep, dude. It's not. He
But
just wants to
also,
make a
like,
cool horror
like,
movie.
why is that? Why is that such a negative? Like, the plot of Until Dawn isn't phenomenal.
No, I'm gonna
I
be
hate to
honest.
be,
From
I
what I've
hate to be
seen,
rude.
it's not some 10 out of 10 masterpiece. And I kind of agree with how they put it too, where it's like he described it as the game is already pretty much a movie on its own, like a
Yes,
10
yeah.
hour
It's
long
supposed to be like
movie.
a schlocky, like
Horror movie. Yeah, it's like a
game.
10-hour
Yeah.
one though, and he was like, it would have been really hard to try to live up to that and capture that in just like a standard less than 2 hour horror movie, you know. So they just kind of wanted to create something new within like the continuity of Until Dawn. So it was like familiar, but like like it was new territory in a way because yeah, which makes sense to me. It's kind of a
I
strange film
love
to
that. I
adapt.
love that idea for it. Like, I think Sandberg is an underrated director
Mhm.
because he's a victim of the studio system all the time. Like, Shazam
Yeah.
2 has had so much shit, and obviously he can't go out and shit talk the people who pay him, so we don't get to hear about it very much.
He's a
Or
big.
else, he'll suffer the fate of the Fantastic Four director and get blacklisted from the industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
That happened. Like he'll get put in director jail, as Zach Krager calls it. I see that happen so much lately, where I'm like, oh, this movie had a big controversy or it was a flop or something. I wonder what happened because of that. Like, oh, David Gordon Green, dude, he's in director jail so bad right now
yeah,
after
I
the
hate the director
Halloween
jail's a real
movies.
thing. I hate that so much.
Yeah, it's freaky almost because I didn't really know for sure that that was like a full thing until I saw that interview of Barbarian where Zach Krager was talking about how he spent 10 years in director jail after he made Civil War on Drugs.
Yeah.
I was like, that is
Yeah, but
crazy
then
that they
again,
just.
like I think we are starting to move away from all of these things
I
as
hope so.
like a culture. Like, I think independent film is going to be on the rise. I thought originally that we were like quite a few years away from this. I thought like, maybe in like 10 years independent film will have a boom. And then certain administrations are like, let's cut millions from the film industry, so they have even less money to make original ideas.
Yeah.
So I think we are hurtling towards like an independent renaissance where films are made for much less and made by more passionate people.
Which
And
is
it's
which
like,
is cool
it,
because
it,
that's how it kind of should be in a way, you know.
I really like that. Like, those are the films that I want to make. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think I will work in a studio environment unless, like, unless I get very, very lucky and also tons of other factors happen. Mostly because of all producers and everything that needs to get involved. It just seems like a lot
Stress.
of my least favorite parts of filmmaking rolled up into one.
I get what
So
you
I
mean.
would love to
It
like
kind of
have like an
sounds
independent
like
company.
sometimes to me it kind of sounds like it would make me stop loving films or whatever. Like I would just not like it as much anymore if I had to be involved with something that stressful all the time.
Yeah.
But before we move
Yeah,
on
it's
too
real.
much, since you mentioned David's, we were talking about David F. Sandberg or whatever. I feel like he's also a big victim of like the makes one bad movie and then everybody dismisses him as a director now for some reason. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
same with that Andy Muschietti guy who did The Flash. Everybody like hates that
Yes.
fucking dude right
Yes.
now, and it's like you cannot like go back in time and erase the fact that everybody was praising the fuck out of the It movies because they were good. The first one especially was really good, and I think people forget that those movies were good because it's been so fucking long since they came out now. You know, it's been like 8 years since that movie came out.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I feel kind of bad for him about about that anyway, because I enjoyed his other few movies. He's only done like 4 movies, but I enjoyed his other work. The Flash just wasn't it, and because a lot of people got very mad when he got announced for Brave and the Bold. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it'll. I think it'll come through. Like
I have a good
again,
feeling about it.
I think hopefully the DC. I don't know. I feel like we're just complaining a lot about like film Twitter, hating on people for no reason. Like no,
Yeah,
like
what
that
else
kind
is
of
new,
culture
right?
because it started to come into more spaces. I'm starting to see a lot more like YouTube film.
Yeah, that's part of
Quote
the
unquote
reason that I wanted to
experts.
get away from Twitter, was because that shit just seems so negative and annoying to me. And now it's like on Letterboxd as well, you know.
Oh god,
People,
Letterboxd is ridiculous. I'm so glad
it's
I never got
so
on the Letterboxd train.
it's so fucking ruined right now, because I'll just try to like, nobody has anything interesting to say about the movies half the time. They just want to make like a mediocre joke, and sometimes the joke is funny, but sometimes it's just so fucking like I really enjoyed that movie The Monkey by Osgood Perkins, if you saw that this year. And a lot of
That
people were,
was the one based on the Stephen King novel, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but it looked pretty fun.
It's a fun little horror comedy. I enjoyed it, but a lot of people on Letterboxd were ripping it to pieces, but they weren't giving like any reasons why. You would just like click on a review and it would be like, this is a fun movie if you're 16 years old, and no, if you're 12 years old in 2016 or something like that. And it's like, what? What does that even mean?
That's
Like, that's
ridiculous.
such an overly specific joke that it's not even funny anymore.
And then it's being written by someone who's like our age, so they weren't even 12 in 2016.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like 10 in 2016 too, or something. They were just fucking.
Yeah, with no like actual concept of how it was and everything back then. It's, I don't know. It's some ridiculous stuff. Like I understand it for like humor. A lot of people at my uni have Letterboxd, so they get it for the jokes. But
Oh
in terms of
yeah,
like an actual film criticism, like
it's hard to
film
come by
criticism
on
is
there.
too complicated. You can't do that in You can't do that in what's it, 120 characters. You can't do that
I think they
in
might have
one
gotten
paragraph.
rid of the character limit, which is good, because sometimes I'll get like too high or too drunk, and I just will go the fuck off, nonstop yapping about some bullshit that like nobody's gonna read. Probably it's just like a fucking, I do it for me, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
The
Like, I
only,
like Letterboxd as like a categorization system of like
yeah,
being able to use
yeah.
it to like rank films and everything.
I'm a
I
big
have
fan
nothing
of
against
its
like Letterboxd itself.
I'm a big fan of its list system. I feel like it's a very convenient way
Yeah,
to rank things or whatever, or just like all like add movies that are coming out that I'm interested in. Which I was about to ask you about that in a second, but I wanted to mention this. I don't know why, but the only person like one of the only people whose funny reviews on Letterboxd I actually like is that YouTuber Drew Gooden. If you know him, because his review of the monkey
yeah.
was kind of negative, but it made me laugh anyway, so I enjoyed it, because it was it was something so fucking stupid where he was like, every time the monkey came on screen, I turned to my wife and said that's the monkey, so that she would know that that's the monkey. And I was like, God, that's so fucking stupid. That's that's the type of shit that gets me for some reason sometimes, though. So
I don't
blunt
know. I
and
think
so
look, as
stupid.
long as it works, as long as it works. Sometimes humor's just so fucking dumb that it works like a charm.
God, yeah, exactly. But wait, what are there any movies coming out this year that have you really excited? Because me personally, there's like a lot. I have like I like wrote down like a list of like 7 or 8 films recently that I know for sure I want to go see in the theater, because I want to remember exactly when to
Yeah.
be ready to like, go do that like schedule time off to do that and shit.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been able to keep up with it very much. I watched Mickey 17. I really liked Mickey 17.
I haven't caught
Um,
around to yet, but I'm very
I
interested in
really
it.
like it. I think a lot of people. I've heard a lot of shit about it, but I think that's because people expected like Parasite levels,
Mhm.
and I think Bong Joon Ho wanted to make something that was a little bit different, and a little bit more fun, but still, I think keeps the same quality level. Really good stuff. Patterson kills it.
It
Every
seems
time I
good.
see Patterson in something that I didn't think he'd be good at, he absolutely kills it. He was phenomenal in the English dub of Boy in the Heaven.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal.
Oh, that was crazy. Have you seen
Yeah,
Good
he's
Time?
unfucking recognizable. Good Time. Good Time was what
God
made me
damn,
come around to Pattinson.
I love
I was
Good
originally
Time.
huge. Yeah, I was originally massively anti anyone in Twilight because when did Good Time come out? 2018? No, that's Uncut
2017,
Gems.
I think it was.
2017, so I probably watched it about 2019. Yeah, I was 15. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I was
movie
an
was
asshole.
fucking awesome, dude. Genuinely, I remember watching that.
Yeah,
I was also like 15 when I saw it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and a good time made me completely come around on a lot of stuff. Like I had a lot of these things that I was originally like, oh no, this would all suck, and then the Safdies were like, I'm gonna make it the most amazing thing you've ever seen.
I
Um,
just, such a random thing to point out, but I just, the opening scene where his brother's in therapy and Robert Pattinson just bursts into
yes.
the room,
Oh
and the
my
way that
god.
the camera like quickly zooms in on his fucking face and just locks onto it when he enters the room is so cool to me. I remember that you might have seen him on my channel before, but that YouTuber Vegas, who I'm also friends with, that's how I met him actually. Was I saw his video he made about Good Time, and I really liked the way he described that shot. He said it was, the zoom in was almost like how that character, I forget the character's name, but that character steals, just like he steals the attention whenever he walks into a room, or whatever. Like he is the
Yeah.
center of his own world. Like everything else around him doesn't matter except for what he wants in that moment. So the camera zooming in on him is just, that's basically how he sees himself in that moment. He's the only thing that matters and what he wants to do. I don't know exactly how
Yeah.
said it because I'm
It's
paraphrasing here, but I thought, I was like, yeah,
no,
that is
but
a
I
really.
fully get it. Like the presence of characters on screen and the
Mm-hmm.
amount of like the frame that they take is really well done.
Yeah,
Fucking love it.
because it says a
Other
lot
thing
about
this
their
year.
power dynamic, how his brother is shot in like this
Yes, yeah,
medium
controlled.
normal way, but then it gets to Pattinson and it's always these intense close-ups like right there.
Yes.
It's
Oh
freaky shit.
god,
It's so good, so
so
good.
fucking good, so fucking good. I need to watch Good Time again sometime. I've been saying
Yeah,
that
me
about a
too.
lot of films recently. um, Another thing this year that I really want to watch, it just came out. Sinners looks so
Oh,
good.
dude, that does look fucking awesome, but I haven't gotten
I have
anybody
heard
to
incredible
want to
things.
go
A
with
few
me yet.
people, oh god, a few people on the set yesterday were like, "Oh, Have you seen Sinners yet, Gabe? Have you seen Sinners yet?" I had to sit with a very specific group of people during lunch because there were two separate Sinners-based conversations. It's making
You
waves.
had to
It
avoid it or
seems so
whatever.
good.
It
Yeah, I
seems
have to, but
fucking
I'm so
awesome.
glad that it's doing so well. So
It
glad.
seems like that's probably the movie of this year so far. You
I
know what I
hope
mean?
so.
Like
I hope so.
how like everything everywhere all at once was like what that was the movie of 2022. Now this is
Yes.
like the movie of 2025.
Yeah, fully.
Ah
God.
man,
Yeah.
but how about how you feeling about Superman? I'm personally fucking really looking forward to James Gunn's
I'm gonna be
Superman.
there day one. I'm
Oh,
gonna
oh
be there
yeah,
day one.
same. It's been what 12 years since the last Superman movie, which I didn't love
Yeah.
that movie. It's been almost 20 years since we've gotten like a proper by the books classic kind of Superman movie. Not that I like hate Man of Steel or have a problem with Zack Snyder's vision or whatever before I get fucking my head put on a stake by Snyder fans or whatever, but um I'm just really excited to see a more traditional Superman movie again, I feel like. Especially by him.
Yeah,
James
yeah,
Gunn has
it'll be
not
good.
let me
It'll be
down yet
good.
with a superhero project.
No, he's not let me down when he's in the director's seat. He's never let me
Mm-mm.
down when he's in the director's seat. I think it will be a very good movie. I'm not gonna lie. I do not know if it will be my Superman movie. Like I've seen the 5 minutes. I watched a Minecraft movie and saw the 5 minutes beforehand. Um, and
How was the Minecraft
I
movie?
think. Oh, we could tackle that. That have to be an entire episode dedicated to Minecraft movie experiences.
I'll have to watch it first and then I'll have to fuck up.
Yeah. Hit me up again.
But continue what you were saying, sorry.
Like I'm really, really excited for it. I think it'll be a phenomenal movie. Nicholas Hoult is what I'm most excited for.
Oh,
Lex
yeah, I
Luthor.
love
I'm
that.
so excited.
Love
Guy
that
has
casting.
hater energy. Applied to be Superman. Got casted as Lex Luthor. Had to shave his
Oh
head.
my god.
He's gonna be in the headspace.
Yeah,
Um,
it's gonna be perfect. Speaking of guys though, Guy Gardner, Nathan
Guy,
Fillion.
I'm so. Oh, I peaked my mic. Was I going to turn that down? Audacity?
Oh, you're
I
good.
just saw the levels immediately cap out.
It wasn't that loud. You're good, but I'm so
Oh
hyped
god.
about that. That even got my sister
Oh, I'm
interested because
so yeah.
she went to see Minecraft and she also saw the teaser. She was like, "That Superman movie looks dope as fuck." And she's like, "Is Nathan Fillion in that movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I
Of
fucking love
course he
Nathan
is. Of
Fillion."
course he is. Oh, I'm so excited for Guy Gardner because Guy Gardner is one of my favorite DC. He's like
Oh
my
yeah.
kryptonite in a DC story. Like if you put Guy Gardner in a story, I'll be instantly so much more interested.
Especially
And
with that
seeing him
casting,
there,
so
seeing him
fun.
look like shit. Yeah, I'm
Dude,
so excited
this
for
is
it.
such a dumb tangent that I had to mention, but fuck. I remember like a year and a half ago, or maybe almost 2 years ago at this point, just for the fun of it, I was kind of writing like a fan, like hype man TV show script, like kind of in the vein of Peacemaker, and it would have starred Nathan Fillion as Kite Man. And then, like, while I was
Oh
writing it for
God.
fun, they announced both a Kite Man animated show that had the same name that I was gonna pick for my show, and then they announced
No.
Nathan Fillion was gonna be Green Lantern, and I was like, "Oh, you fucking assholes, you
Kite
fuckers!"
Man. Hell yeah.
But that is a perfect casting, though. I also think he would have been good as Hal Jordan too, or whatever. But I'm very happy with him as Guy Gardner.
He could have done Hal for sure. I think Nathan Fillion is underrated in his flexibility. I think he's really good at a lot of different roles. I think he could have been a lot of lanterns. I think he could have been a good Booster Gold.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I could see a good Booster Gold one. I could see a good like Blue Beetle. Obviously not
Oh,
nanotech Blue
I like
Beetle.
Ted Cord
The one
Blue
before.
Beetle.
Yeah.
That would have worked too.
Honestly, let's do the Booster Gold Blue Beetle buddy comedy, and they're both Nathan Fillion.
Oh, that would be so
Uh,
fucking trippy. That's like a Brandon Rogers skit or something, where it's just he
yeah.
plays
Oh my
every single
god,
fucking
that'd be
character.
so good. That'd be so good. Well,
His
yeah.
short.
I think the DCU, if it's done one thing perfectly, it has been casting.
Oh yeah, I'm loving the
John Cena
casting
as
so far.
Peacemaker, Frank Grillo as
Have you
as
have you
Rick
heard
Flag Senior.
the whispers and the rumors about who they might be looking at for Batman?
No,
It's
I don't know.
the guy from the Jack Reacher show. I forget his name, but the Jack Reacher show that's currently going. You know that fucking refrigerator of a human being. That dude is the biggest motherfucker I've ever seen. So they clearly wanted like a one of those like big fucking like Arkham Knight type Batmans. You know, just a huge scary dude, which I'm cool with, even though I'm more of a fan of like the classic kind of slim Batman who hides in the shadows. You know, I can fuck with a Batman who just is ungodly ripped for whatever reason.
I could be fine with it. I'm not like I haven't seen this guy in anything. I've not seen a single thing this guy has been in. Actually, no, he was in Smallville. I do not remember who the fuck this guy played in Smallville.
Yeah, Alan
Um,
Richson or whatever. I've heard people say that he's been.
yeah, no, I've looked him up so I can see if I've seen him in anything, but I have not seen shit.
I'm
with
not
this guy in
familiar
it.
with his work either, but like, hopefully I maybe I'd have to check out Reacher to see if I think he'd be like actually good as Batman.
Yeah,
But god
I
damn,
mean,
this
like,
dude is a fucking unit.
yeah, no, he's built like a brick shit house, and I think he's definitely got the shape for Batman. I do like a big Batman. Like as much as I've been loving the skinnier build of Pattinson, but
Oh, if that
yeah.
new movie ever fucking comes out, did you see?
I think it could be it could if Matt Reeves came out and said it's going to come out 2050, I'll be like Cook King. Like
Did you
I
hear
I
the
will wait
nerve
forever.
wracking news though? That Matt Reeves was apparently saying that if the movie gets delayed again, he might just leave the project entirely to do something else for a while. Which I don't want that to happen. That's for sure. I don't want someone else to
I
take
don't want
over.
I don't
I
want
feel
it to
like it wouldn't be
happen,
the same.
but like I feel like he would only leave with like certain conditions in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where like because we don't know all the behind the scenes. We didn't know if productions being halted because of like it could be halted for any reason. Like maybe an
Yeah.
actor got injured and that's why they've had to delay it for months.
I think
or
the last
it's just been
time-
quite a cast environment.
I think not that long ago, James Gunn said a big part of the reason was that Matt hadn't really settled on like how he wanted the script to be, and that's a very big deal. Obviously, Matt Reeves wants the script to be perfect, and they don't want to rush him. Is what James Gunn was kind of saying. So they're like, you do you take your time. Like, let us know when you have a script that you feel happy with or whatever, and then we'll run
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, if Reeves was to come out and be like, I want to take a year break from it and take my hands off of it, and as long as the movie doesn't get made without him, I'd be totally fine with that.
Mm-hmm. I need
Like
to
that'd be
take
my
a
one worry. It's like Reeves bows out and he gets replaced.
I need to take a break from this movie to go direct another Planet of the Apes movie instead. Go direct my.
Honestly, I'd be fine with it. I feel like that is a bit of an underrated part of the directing experience. Like you need breaks in this distance. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't be in a project like this. I mean, because he went straight into Batman 2 after Batman 1, right?
Yeah, it was like
Uh,
immediate.
and that's also with all of the Penguin development as well. So he's been in these trenches for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he just needs maybe he needs to do like a little movie, like a short film with some like fairies and
I,
bright colors
I've
and
always
pinks
thought it
and
like ever
pastels.
since I was a kid. I always thought it would be like amazing. Obviously, like most people who are interested in filmmaking to make like a superhero movie or something like that. But also the commitment of that is kind of freaky, you know. Because if
Yeah,
it's
it's
successful,
huge.
you're locked in for like a decade, man. You're locked in for like cause like like a trilogy. A lot of the time, that takes like 10 years to do a whole
Yeah,
trilogy.
yeah. No,
It's
no one gets as lucky as Nolan did and is able to get that shit out in less than 10 years.
or
Like,
fucking Sam Raimi doing it in 5 years, dude, or whatever. That was fucking crazy. From like
yeah, but
2002 to
that came at a
2007.
cost. That came at a cost.
Mm-hmm. That came at a. Honestly, Spider. I know Spider-Man 3 is not perfect, but I still really like that movie a lot. I got drunk recently and watched it with like a friend, and I was having a fucking blast. That
I like
movie is.
Spider-Man 3. Even sober, I like Spider-Man 3. But it's still,
Mm-hmm.
like, after Spider-Man 2, I get it. I get the
Yeah,
disappointment.
there's things about it that still piss me off, just as like a fan more than anything. That I was like, someone who's like, this is a terrible movie. It's just like I'll be watching it, and I'm like, God damn, this movie would have been so much better if they just like cut Venom out entirely and just focus on Sandman or something, because he had a really interesting arc written for Sandman, and they just completely overshadowed that like 90% of the time. They like, did you ever see that deleted scene that they cut from the movie where he like visits his daughter as the sandcastle or whatever?
Yeah, I'm really. I see all of the deleted scenes in those movies. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gutted. Absolutely gutted.
That one's one of my favorites, and it's like completely insane to me that somehow didn't make the final cut of the movie. It just baffles me. You could have cut like
Yeah.
a little bit out of one of his Peter Parker's like three dance numbers he fucking has.
No, no, no. Just make the movie longer. Just put it all in.
Just you know, did you ever hear that they were considering briefly making it two parts back when was in production still? They were like, we might have to do Spider-Man 3 part 1 and part 2 because it's so much shit,
Uh,
and they
what they
somehow
were predicting without realizing it.
mhm. That could have probably worked better though if they actually went in trying to do that from the start. You could have made that way, they could have actually developed both the plot lines a little bit better if it was like a two-parter movie. But that was a little bit, that was like kind of a foreign idea back then, right? Like only.
Yeah, then you run into so many different issues with having two movies, right? Like I
Mhm.
don't know. I think especially with the time that had to be done in, that was never gonna end well.
Yeah, like Pirates of the Caribbean kind of did a similar thing, and that was surely not easy. Both like two of the movies in that first trilogy came out only like a year apart from each other, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Because they were
if
both
I
made at
remember
like the
right.
same fucking time. It's basically, like I don't know. I always kind of saw that as like a two-parter, even though it's not like part one and part two, because it does feel like the second movie and the third movie are like you kind of need both to get the full picture, you know.
Hmm. I
I
feel
haven't
you.
seen those movies in forever. But
No, me neither. Definitely soon though.
yeah.
Definitely soon.
How do we land on
Speaking of
Spider-Man?
good trilogies. Also, another example of like things that always split the final film in two. I think no book adaptation series that splits the third book into two parts has done it well. Um,
It's risky, man. It's because I don't know. You
like
always have like one part of the story that's inevitably going to be a little bit weaker than the other half.
yeah, yeah, especially because a book is written to be
Hmm.
one piece, and then you make a film, but that's 2 years apart for like quite a weak ending. And
Yeah,
I
like
think like
I think they did a
yeah.
pretty good job with it. Chapter two. It was. I thought it was a pretty solid movie, but it obviously has a lot of problems. because
Yeah.
like that was probably the best that they could have done with that though, because that was always the second half of that story is always going to be the least interesting part of it. Nobody really cares as much when they're adults, they just don't give a shit.
No, but I do think they did a really good job at that. I wasn't even thinking of it when I was talking about it. So
Hmm.
but like I think they did a really, really good job. They also made you care. Like I like even
Yeah,
though you don't think I really didn't think that I wanted to be ages to see it part two, but I fucking loved it. Like I
I
thought it was a
liked it a
really good
lot.
time.
I think a lot of the hate comes from how wacky Andy Muschietti got with a lot of the directing choices in that, because that he did. But I kind of like his wackiness in a way for some reason. It's just interesting to me, even if I don't love all his choices. Like when the
Mm.
leper monster starts puking on Eddie in that song that's like, "Just call me Angel." When that starts playing, like that's stupid. That didn't need to happen. But like I kind of fuck with it in a weird way, because I'm like, nobody else would do that. But this motherfucker was like, I gotta
Yes.
do this. I gotta put this stupid ass song cue right here.
Yeah, I think it works because I think there's no way to have the same amount of attention the first film did when they're not
Hmm.
kids anymore. Like they've been traumatized by it, and I think he took an easier, more interesting way out. And instead of like, how the hell do I even have enough time to make this film tense
Yeah.
enough with them being adults? Like
Yeah, it
that
was
that that
focused
kind of
less
thing will
on
fall
being
apart so easily,
scary.
and instead they made it so fun. Like that entire last encounter with fucking like eldritch JRPG monster Pennywise.
Oh, I completely agree though, because I feel like they were 100% shooting with just like a crowd pleasing fun with the second movie, while the first one was actually trying to be like a scary horror movie, even though it was also kind of a similar vein where it was just fun, even if it
Yeah,
was, I wasn't jumping out of my seat scared of that movie. It's just fun to watch, and you actually care about the characters, so you want to see them survive and all
yeah.
that.
And when part two needed to be scary was the mirror
Hmm.
scene. I think is really good. The mirrors, like the Hall of Mirrors.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought that
that
scene's really
scene
good.
was good. It really, at first I was kind of confused about that, because I know that kid lives in the novel, but I honestly think the choice to kill him works a little bit more, because it's kind of like that was the movie's way of like, showing that Bill couldn't have done anything about his brother anyway. He needs to move on from his grief and stop blaming himself for his brother's death, because even if he was there,
Fully.
he could not save his brother from getting eaten by a fucking clown.
No, I love the changes that they made. I haven't read it, but I've had tons of discussions with people who have read it. One of
Hmm.
like the people I discuss films with the most, my best mate, Pim Pilsner, shout out on not on a platform. um, crazy that I could just do that. I could just shout out anyone. Anyway, sorry.
I have the
But
power
like
to just.
for what I hear, I do love book adaptations. Although another one that splits its source material into multiple parts and does it really really well. June. I finally saw both tunes very very late last year.
Mm.
After putting it off for ages. And yeah, no, they fucking nailed it. So you
I
know what?
feel
I'll
like
take it back.
it probably works better as a two piece, doesn't it? Because I've only ever seen the first one still, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty good, but
It works really well as a two-piece because Villeneuve has intimately designed it to be so. So from what I've heard, there's like a laundry list of changes that get made for various reasons. Like apparently, in the events of June 2, in the book, there's like a toddler that needs to be running around.
right.
They don't fucking do that because I guess they didn't want the logistics of children on set.
No, yeah, no, and especially filming in the
Also, it
fucking
seems that,
desert.
yeah, it seems that the kid is involved in some quite action-heavy scenes as well. So just
Yeah.
don't let the fucking kid be in there. Become goofy as hell. Um, so they find workarounds and they do this and they do that and they also give some cats a lot more autonomy and some cats a lot less. It seems really interesting, almost interesting enough for me to go and read Dune. However, that book is dense as fuck,
Oh,
and
yeah, and there's
I
like five of them,
struggle
isn't
with
there?
very dense books. Even no, the films have only covered the first one so far, but I really struggle with dense books. Like I've been reading
Oh,
American
yeah.
Psycho recently, like the book,
Yeah, yeah.
and that isn't even considered very dense by like if you're like a proper reader's standards. But for my background of comic books and manga, that shit is dense.
Oh, dude,
Um,
I get what you mean about that, though. I struggle with it too, right? I've been chugging through this book I'm reading right now, Dead Zone. It's a Stephen King novel because that movie, The
Mm.
Monkey, kind of put me in the mood. Not gonna lie.
That's
And
fair.
then
That's fair.
following that one up, I have another one of his I've been curious about for years called Insomnia, and I looking at that shit on my nightstand is like daunting. Like I'm looking at it right now. That is a thick fucking book, dude. I don't. It's a fucking big ass book, and I'm not excited for how long that's gonna take me to get through. It's like
Yeah,
probably a
that's
thousand
the
pages on
price.
this one.
But I wish you the best of luck getting through it. Wish you the best of luck.
For some reason, that's just
Uh,
how my brain is. I guess I see 1,000 pages on a book, and I'm like, God damn.
That is crazy. Yeah, the big books scare me. Like, I do have a few. I bought Catch 22 because I found it at like a charity bookstore and they were just gonna throw it away if I didn't get it. And I look at it and it's like maybe 10 years from now. Maybe 10 years from now.
Yeah, maybe I'll get around to it one day. There's some just add it to your endless list of I'll get around to it one days or whatever.
Yeah, I find that I've been loving a lot shorter medium a lot more recently. Like I've been I rewatched Transformers One for that video that we're doing together because I watched it. So when I did the first batch, so I've watched all the Transformers movies. When I did the first batch, I forgot to take notes during Transformers One because it was too good. So I've had to rewatch it again. So I can actually take notes during it
Damn,
for the script.
I have to watch this
That's how
movie I
much I
like
love it.
again.
Yeah. I was like, oh fuck. But it's also the shortest Transformers movie. It's my favorite one. It's only an hour and a half. It's got another 50 minutes of credits on the end, but it's a fucking brilliant
A
90 minutes. And
perfect
I've been loving
runtime.
that about it.
Perfect runtime for a Transformers movie. I
Perfect
was
runtime
starting
for
to
that kind
lose
of
my
movie.
mind when I booted up like the third movie, and I saw that like
Oh my god, it's
two
like
hours.
240, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. I was like, you have to be actually fucking with me right now, dude. This is insane.
Yeah. Like I've been really enjoying short stuff, shorter games, shorter
I,
books,
I feel that way
shorter
too,
films.
especially stuff like I watch a lot of horror movies, and short horror movies is the way to go. I feel. I
Yes,
see a lot
fully.
of people say an hour and a half is the perfect runtime for a lot of horror movies, and I couldn't agree more because a lot like sometimes they need to be long, like to get it across, but like if your idea is simple enough, an hour and a half should suffice. That should work,
Yeah.
and that way you're not wasting people's time or whatever.
Oh, fully. Yeah, I would love that. Even like action movies and stuff, like something that I've been
Mhm.
loving. I forget his name. He's the guy who did Bullet Train and Fall Guy. Those movies are not very long, but
Oh,
they actually get a lot in there. They're
fuck,
really
dude.
good.
I actually really like him too. I forget his name too. It's David something, isn't it? It's David
David
Leitch, isn't it?
Leitch.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, we got there. Woo.
Yes. Dude, his movies are actually pretty fun, and I was kind of disappointed that he wasn't going to be doing the third Deadpool movie, and it was Sean Levy
Yeah.
instead. No offense to Sean Levy, but that guy's work just bores the fuck out of me. I'm not gonna lie. Like it
Yeah,
does absolutely
I'm not a
nothing
big
for
Levy
me.
fan. I respect him. He seems to be very fun to work with, which I think is more important.
Yeah, he seems
Like
like a
everyone
nice
seems to
guy.
have a really great time. But yeah, Deadpool 3 did not hit for me as hard as it did for a lot of other
No,
people.
no, same. I kind of felt that way too, where I was like I enjoyed myself, obviously, but that is like, it's like a 6 out of 10 movie. It's just okay. It does its job, but like the other two were just so
Yeah.
much better for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, same here. Although I don't think it was bad in any movies. I really liked the way they brought back Logan. I thought they did a really good
Yeah,
job in it.
it wasn't a bad movie at
Um,
all for sure. I just feel like they could have done more with what they had, especially
oh,
like you're telling me
absolutely.
you have Deadpool and Wolverine together for the first time ever in a live act, like not like this like this anyway, the first time properly together in a live action movie, and you're just gonna set it in some random fucking third dimension desert the whole time. That was a big letdown
Yeah,
because I feel like
the MCU synergy
The other
did
Deadpool
bite in,
movies always
yes.
had good set pieces and locations,
Yes,
like the
yes.
prison in Deadpool 2, the mutant one, and all that. Like shit like that was very memorable and cool. And this whole third movie is just a desert.
Yeah.
And like what
Also, I
you
thought
just
the
said, the
fights were a
MCU.
bit lacking.
Yeah, some of the Wolverine and Logan fights I had a lot of fun with. But like a lot of the other action besides that felt kind of underwhelming in certain aspects.
Yeah, I found that like especially the first two Deadpool movies have some really really good action in them from what's
Mm-hmm.
considered. It's very practically done, a lot of good stunts. They really take advantage of the fact that you can't see Ryan Reynolds. They can just put whoever the fuck they want under there.
Yeah, yeah, they
Um,
really do.
but like, I mean, Twitter tore it apart when it came out in a way that I thought was unfair. But Deadpool 3 does have a lot of like weighty CG stuff.
See, I think I might have already,
Even for Logan.
I think I might have already left Twitter when that came out, so I didn't see any of
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
I saw a lot of
But
people
like,
praising it a little too much. I thought, like, I understand liking it, but some people were like ripping into other people for not giving it 5 stars or something.
oh, that's
Like,
insane.
this guy posted his joke review and he gave it like a 3.5 star on Letterbox. He just does like these TikToks where he just like reads his review and shows it at the bottom, I guess. It popped up in my feed, and so many people were like, only fucking 3.5 stars, and I'm like, yeah, I gave it less than that, dude. Like, I gave it just 3.
Yeah, I would also give it just 3. I do like I did have tons of fun with it, but I mean, it was like quality as a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it just wasn't phenomenal. Good acting though. Hugh is a tour de force
Oh,
because he's like
people,
what he's like 120 now or something.
yeah, God, he's doing Deadpool till he's 80, man. I mean, he's doing
Yeah,
Wolverine till he's 80. My bad. Um, you
yeah.
know
I don't know
that
if they will though. It seems that they may be like
I'm
he
not
might get
sure
one more
either.
cameo in, but I don't. I hope he gets to like fucking put it to bed.
I really hope that's not the last time I get to see like a proper Wolverine in a movie, though. Because that would be a bit sad if that's the last time, and first and only time that it ever like the proper yellow suit, violent ass Wolverine
Yeah,
happens. Like, I'm okay with
yeah.
recasting if it's done okay, but it's just like yeah, like you said, they should probably put his character to rest because they were already risking it bringing him back, and a lot of people were
I
reasonably
did
pissed
think
about that.
they brought it back. I was originally very pissed when I heard about it, but then they did bring it back really well, mostly because like I think Hugh really really cared to make sure that
Hmm.
Logan still hits as hard as it does, and it does.
Yeah,
We watched
yeah.
Logan not too long afterwards,
They
and
made
it
a
does
good
hold up really
choice in
well.
leaving well enough alone and having it not be like he was resurrected from the dead or like he never died at all. Like that Logan still stands and still happened because he fucking died. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, and
confirmed.
it gets to be that way.
Hmm.
I thought the Henry Cavill cameo was fucking incredible though.
Yeah,
That
that
was one of
was
my
very
highlights of the
fun. That
entire
actually got a
movie.
good kick out of me. Cause sometimes I feel like they
Uh,
missed the mark a little bit with like the jokes aimed towards the fan base, but like they did really
yeah,
good with
that
that
one. Yeah,
one.
this one was quite bad
Or,
for it.
or like the comic
Um,
accurate Wolverine one made me chuckle too. That felt like a direct shot at like Cosmonaut Variety Hour. They're
oh
just
my
like, look
god,
how
I can
comic
imagine.
accurate little Wolverine.
Good shit, good shit. Uh, but yeah, I do hope that they get a different actor for the MCU version. Maybe
Hmm.
give Hugh one little cameo send off, and I hope that we could get more of a comic accurate one. But I mean,
Yeah,
for in terms of comic accuracy, I think the MCU has been doing quite well with it. For example, Fantastic Four looks phenomenal.
it does. It does. I'm a little. This is gonna sound dumb, and it's completely my fault. But I'm still a little bit sad that the fan casting of Mason Gooding as Johnny Storm didn't come true. Do you know Mason Gooding? If you saw the new Scream movies or like Hard Eyes that just came out this year.
Oh my god, I want to see Heart Eyes so bad,
Oh, dude,
but I haven't seen it yet.
it is actually like really good, and I'm not just saying that because it's one of those movies where everyone was like, okay, this will probably be all right, and then you go see it and you're like, holy shit, that movie was
No,
actually fucking great.
I really, really want to see it. It looks really good. It's directed
Oh,
by
it's
Josh Rubin, who I
yes,
really
yes,
follow quite closely,
dude.
and I would love to see more.
I didn't actually know he was directing it going into the movie until I was sitting there and there was like a 2-second cameo. I was like, oh shit, it's Josh Rubin. And then
Yeah,
and then at the end it was like directed by Josh Rubin, and I was like, is he gonna take the
I love.
comedy to horror pipeline too, just like everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be fucking working like
Hmm.
treats. The comedy to horror pipeline is real.
You got
I
Zach
believe.
Krager, fucking Jordan Peele, now him as well. I guess you could say Oz Perkins in a way because he used to act in comedy
Mm,
movies.
mm.
He was in
God, yeah,
Legally
no, I want
Blonde,
to
I'm
see
pretty
Heart Eyes.
sure.
God, Heart Eyes. I need to get around to it. That should be next on my priority list.
Oh yeah,
I need
you
to
should definitely. I
stop
couldn't
thinking about
recommend
these
it more.
big budget shit.
I'm so
Get on our
glad
eyes.
that slashers are back again and like
Yes,
good.
yes, I love a slasher.
Have you heard of there's one coming out like next month. It'd probably already be out by the time I post this, to be honest. I don't think this is going up till like June. I didn't mention that, but I still have to prepare the overall
Yeah, that's
podcast, you
fair.
know. You get it. But like there's this one coming out called Clown in a Cornfield that already has like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes from like a bunch of
Ooh,
critics. So I'm like, are slashers back, dude? Are they fucking good again?
I hope so. Oh, I'll look it up. It's only 90 minutes. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about that's the
Perfect. Yeah,
perfect
exactly.
length. Perfect length.
Exactly. And I've been enjoying a lot of these new ones. I'm not a big fan of stuff like Terrifier because I think that's just a little bit too much for me. A little bit
Yeah.
too. I'm not huge on that, but I enjoyed the new Scream was really the new Screams were really good. Hard Eyes is good, and I actually surprisingly I liked Thanksgiving a little bit, even though I think Eli Roth movies are fucking terrible. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's too hot of a take though. I feel like a lot of people don't really fuck with Eli Roth that much.
Yeah, I haven't seen everything of his, but I haven't really loved what I have seen.
He like no offense to him either, I guess, but he also kind of strikes me as kind of an asshole because I was watching you know that channel Dead Meat that like does the kill count and all that
Yeah?
on horror movies or whatever. They're pretty funny and they do like the cool behind the scenes shit, whatever. He did one about Eli's first or no, I think it's his second movie, Hostel. Um and he kept talking about certain behind the scenes things and I was like, dude, this guy just kind of sounds like a fucking dick because there was a he portrayed I forget what country, but he portrayed some small country in like Europe or something to be like super dangerous and super full of gang violence and they got upset about that and said that that's not accurate and they even offered him a free like all expenses paid trip to come see their country and see how nice it is, you know, and stuff. And he basically told them that he didn't fucking want to do that and he was like, I don't care if I portrayed your country wrong. Most Americans, I mean everybody in America, they don't even think your country's a real place anyway. They probably just think it's a thing from my movie. And he just like completely fucking
Jesus
ghosted him after
fucking
that. I
Christ.
was like, what a fucking dick. What a baby about it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. No need to keep watching any more of his films.
Hmm. And he was in those countries too, teaching like these 5-year-old fucking children actors how to cuss and shit, of course. Just like
Jesus
being
Christ.
like, he was like, say punani. Say bitches and punani to these like toddlers. I'm like, this guy just seems like this isn't gonna make any sense probably, but he's like the Shane Dawson of horror filmmakers in my opinion. He just seems like a fucking ass, but he's really popular for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know, some people are just like that. Or maybe they just have the money to put into these kind of movies.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Shane Dawson is an asshole filmmaker. Did you ever see the clips of when he directed a movie?
I've seen what he's directed.
You not cool? Not cool or whatever it's called, and like
Yeah, something
Smiley or
like that.
something. Yeah, that
No, I
movie.
don't think he directed Smile. I think he's just in it. If
Oh
I
right,
remember
yeah.
right.
Smiley was fuck, I forget his name, but the same dude who's actually directing a movie about the Heaven's Gate cult right now, which I found out recently. I was like, really? He didn't get fucking put in director jail for doing Smile or Smiley? I mean,
Although it doesn't seem actually like he's got anything going on anymore. So maybe, yeah, maybe the world is spared.
yeah.
He's got no credits after 2019.
The guy who did that movie.
No, Shane.
Oh
Smiley,
yeah,
that was what it's called.
yeah,
That was what it's
Smiley.
called.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. I don't think
His name he played Binder.
I don't think Shane Dawson probably will again because of fucking how ruined his name is by his own actions or whatever, you know.
You would think that someone having their name absolutely ruined, but then the poor ones are getting their own reality TV show now.
Yeah, I
So,
guess so.
like,
Anything is possible.
anything is possible. I
Cause
was honestly quite surprised to not see him at least doing something. I didn't think he was gonna be like successful or anything.
He's
but...
actually trying to get a horror movie made, I think, like directed and written by him, but like with since it's him, that might not be easy to do, you know. A studio that any studio he can take that idea to, they can just do like a background check on him and be like, are we gonna get fucking are people gonna like destroy this fucking movie just if we make it, you know, because it's Shane Dawson or whatever? Like we don't want his reputation tearing us down too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've fallen down. I fell down a Wikipedia rabbit hole midway through reading about him. Yeah, sorry. I just haven't been kept up in the internet dramas at all recently. So got
Me neither. That's
lost in the weeds.
That's an old one anyway. I think that was like, God, I was still a teenager back when all that happened. So that was a while ago.
Yeah,
like,
same here.
that was back when I used to pay more attention to internet
we had the time.
controversy and all that. Yeah, it was COVID, I
Yeah.
think, too. So, like, what the fuck else was I going to do besides figure out why everybody hated Shane Dawson, you know?
Figure out what did I do during COVID? I played a ton of really long games. I played Red Dead. I played all the FNAF games. The FNAF movie comes out this year, right? The new one.
Yeah, the FNAF 2, and I saw the trailer, and it actually looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I hope that they kind of bring it back together with the FNAF 2. So I was a little bit disappointed by FNAF 1. I think FNAF could actually make a really, really good movie. But I think FNAF 1 played it a little bit too by the books.
Right.
And I think if they leaned a little bit more into what makes some of the games very unique, because like it's like I really love the unique thing about FNAF is that they come to you. You don't chase them down, and that's much more like a movie than most games are. So I feel like it lends itself so well, especially something like FNAF 3 or FNAF 4 or the sixth one that I always forget what weird fucking name it has.
Yeah, what millionth name they've come up with at this point.
Yeah, like I would love to see FNAF done real justice on screen, because I think there's a lot of phenomenal potential.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
That kind of mascot horror.
Yeah, especially with just so much lore and so much shit you could pull from that franchise. And I feel like the first movie, I thought it was okay, but it really, it kind of sold itself short of like all it could have been. It was just like a lot of it was him going to work and then falling asleep at work and then dreaming about his fucking dead brother or whatever, instead of actual FNAF shit happening.
It just wasn't any more of a, like, it wasn't a FNAF movie, it was a movie with a FNAF coat of paint. Like, I feel like that's I mean, that's how a lot of video game movies have been, but I've not seen it in such dramatic case.
Yeah,
before.
I think the Last of Us is probably the most accurate adaptation I've ever seen of a video game so far, out of all the other ones that are just kind of whatever the hell, you know.
Yeah, I think The Last of Us 2 seems to be straying away from what I've heard. Season 2, I haven't. It started coming out. It might be done by the time. I haven't watched either season. I'm not very interested. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't
think Pedro is the phenomenal Joel. I'm gonna get your podcast burned down saying that. But I love Pedro Pascal. I think he is the best male actor working today.
I kind of feel
but
you
I don't
in a
think
certain
he was a phenomenal
sense
case
too,
for Joel.
I feel you about not being interested though, because like I think The Last of Us is a good game and good story, obviously, but at this point, like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like I've been there, done that. I don't really need to re-experience it a million times. Like everyone, like I see it, like its fans are committed. They're like, it's the best game ever. It's the best story. Blah blah this that, and I'm like, it's really not the best game ever. But like
I think it's one of them, but like you can never say that something's the best game ever. Like I think it's up there just to that quality, right?
People definitely throw that around too much these days. They're like, this is the best, blah blah, or the worst. Like I saw recently, they released another short teaser for 28 Years Later about like Danny Boyle talking about what he's trying to achieve with it as a director, you know. And one of the comments on it was, this is either going to be the best or worst movie of all time. And I'm like, why would it be the worst?
It's not going to
movie
be either.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be either of those. But even if it's bad, why would it be the worst movie?
As excited as I am for 28 years, I do not know if it will be better than 28 Days.
Oh hell
28
no, I
Days
don't think
is
so.
such like a perfect little
Yeah.
extreme
It
thing.
was made at the
Uh,
right time by the right people. I think this new movie's gonna be fucking great from what I've seen, and since the same creative team is coming back. But I don't think, I don't think it's gonna be the same magic that
I'm
original
really
movie
excited.
has.
I think this is the first time Danny Boyle and Alex kind of got back together since Sunshine.
Mm-hmm. This
So
is
I'm
the most
very excited
anticipated
for it.
movie I've ever had, like ever probably. So I'm definitely excited. Just so I can clear up any confusion about this next segment, this was originally meant to be posted on my Patreon back when I was going to launch that upon my return, but I decided ultimately not to do that as of right now, since the channel only has like 1,000 subscribers, and that would be a much larger workload to return to. So if you hear us mention Patreon related stuff during this part of the podcast, just forget about it. Just forget about it, because I'm having a lot of fun talking right now, man. It's been nice catching
Yeah,
up.
no, this is a blast.
It's been
Hey, any
forever.
chance to just yap about movies and media with a close friend and get to say that I'm working is
Yeah.
a dream.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. Maybe I can write this off as like a tax expense or whatever. You're like, oh, this is a work meeting.
Fully. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I put this in my calendar as urgent,
See, I make
top
fuck.
priority.
I wish I was technically self-employed because I would so take advantage of small things like that occasionally, like going to lunch with like some friends or something, and it's like expensive. I could just like cover the tab and then be like, give me that receipt. I'm gonna write this off as a business meeting. This is a work lunch.
Yeah,
We were here
absolutely,
discussing business.
absolutely. Peak stuff.
But yeah, I wanted to ask you this a second ago, but we were wrapping up the like real episode on my YouTube or whatever. But you mentioned something about getting into animation right now as well. Like what have you been doing involving animation lately? I'm very curious
So it's
about
more
that.
game design right now than animation. I'm very curious about getting into animation stuff, but I'm more getting into it through game design as the excuse, right?
Right.
So I've been wanting to tackle game design stuff for a really really long time, and I was starting to realize that like if I don't just like let's just absolutely just go for it. So I'm starting out with like a really really small Pokemon fan game,
Yeah,
like just so I
yeah.
can learn stuff, right? Like I've started from absolutely
You've
nothing,
told me
and
about
I
that
personally.
Pokemon fan game before. Has that going well?
So this is different. So that was a group project which unfortunately fell apart due to group drama that I was not a part of. Like I started uni and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be active for a while, so you guys will have to keep me updated on things. And like Christmas came around and I got in touch and it was like, nah, it's not happening. It's like
Uh,
shit. But so this one that I'm doing is like a really really small fan game. Like it's just a basic like Pokemon premise, and then we'll go around it, and I will be learning animation coding, a little bit of animation work through that. Um,
Hell
just
yeah.
to like, because I think if you want to learn a new creative skill, a really good way to do that is fan works, because I think that a lot of creatives struggle with an original idea, whether it's like making a making an original comic of like your own world or your own fantasy book is the passion. Because if it doesn't come out exactly as you're envisioning it in your head, you get really disappointed.
Yeah.
Um, so I think a fan work allows you to have like a goal, and you can get closer and closer to that goal through refinement. I think that it's at least for a lot of creatives that I know, it's a lot easier to be passionate about it that way.
Right.
Um, so, like, I've become friends with a group of Transformers fan film makers. It's most notably a guy called Top Hat T Rex who does Transformers '99. I don't know, like, I would give a shout out, but it's fucking blowing up. Like, if there's a Transformers fan who gives a shit about fan films, they've heard it before they've watched this.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal guys. And then we were having the same discussion of like, what's a good way to learn a new filmmaking skill or a new game design skill or a new animation skill? Animate something that you already love, so that way you don't have to worry about finding the love for it.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's a really good way of doing it. So the idea is just to do like this basic Pokemon game, so I can learn. I'll be doing it in Pokemon Essentials, which is like a plugin for RPG Maker. RPG Maker runs off of the Ruby coding language, so it's all really simple shit, really simple. So I can make something and then go from there. Because I do have quite a few ideas for art pieces that only can exist in game form. and I really, really want to pursue them. And I think I've tried to pursue game development before, but I've started too big or I've started too original, and I've lost the passion before it could really materialize into anything. So having this small little thing to learn and do the fundamentals means that I can go into it and like really fall in love with something.
Right, yeah, and I think that's probably a really good idea too, to kind of start somewhere like small and familiar like that too. Like I kind of get what you mean about that really well too, about the fan creations and stuff. I feel like in the past, whenever I've had like really bad writer's block, when I want to like write a new screenplay or something for fun, I've actually written like uh, or like I'll like write a little bit of it anyway. I don't usually finish all of them because it would take forever, but I'll do like uh, fan adaptations of books I'm reading into movies or something like that. You know, kind of like
Yeah, and I think it's really good practice. Like
yeah, it's a good
I
way to
would
get
much,
that
yeah.
creative steam going or whatever, because it gets you in the mood again to create whatever you're working on, and then that will start sparking the new original ideas that you've been looking for a while.
Yeah, exactly. I fully agree. I think fan works are underrated in certain communities of creatives because I feel like there's a big need, especially for creatives who are like actively pursuing jobs in the industry. Everything's got to be great. Everything's got to be on your portfolio. Everything's
Right.
got to get to a festival. Everything's got to be great. Does not have to be. The biggest, like, I know it's the fucking Star Wars quote, but the biggest things that I've learned have been from the projects that went to shit, and no one's gonna see them because I will not let people see them. But they've taught me so much. They've had their value not through an audience reception, but through what they taught me about filmmaking. Like I had
Mhm.
this horrendous mindset that I could do everything as long as I understood how the kit worked. Until that hit a breaking point where I made an entire short film where I was the only crew member. I had sound through my laptop and like a Bluetooth extender to my headphones to a mic
Oh
to
man.
a camera set up on a gimbal that I had to keep resetting because if I ever set it down the weight would go. Oh, it was a fucking nightmare. And that finally taught me, hey, just because you're so much of a fucking nerd, you understand how all this shit works. You don't have enough hands to hold it all, so
No.
you need help.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's always good to be able to accept help or whatever, especially in in a field like filmmaking. Making a movie by yourself is pretty much fucking impossible. You know, you need other
Yeah, yeah.
people. You need to learn how to work with people. People who like are a little bit too like can't function with like a big group. You kind of need to work on that and change that if you're not very good with that, because otherwise it's hard to be a director if you don't work good with people in general. You know what I mean?
Fully. Like, but also working with the right kind of people. Like the
Yes.
people that I've got on the film that I'm doing right now. It's called Love Bomb. I should I'm calling it Love Bomb from now on.
Hell yeah.
And it's really good. But like I've made sure it's people who work well together. I've made sure it's people who are not just good at their job, but people who will synergize with the other departments. Like I haven't brought on anyone from my university who's mean or clicky. Not because they're not good at their job. I will not lie. Some of the people that I do not get along with at my uni, I wish I could pretend they were bad filmmakers. They're not. They're still really good. But I don't want them on my sets with people who wouldn't get along with them either. I don't want drama. Like that
Yeah.
takes time. That makes a worse film overall because that sets the vibe off. Like
Yeah,
the film, because
exactly.
it's about complicated relationships, tone is really important. We have actors who are acting in a very heavy way. There's quite a few emotional scenes, and if your actors do not trust that the crew will behave and be settled, your actors will not give a phenomenal performance.
No.
Or like a tone will be uncomfortable. There was a scene that we had to shoot yesterday, which has a male dominant part of a relationship being quite gaslighty and predatory, and that scene could have come across really awkward. It could have come across very
Uncomfortable even.
disrespectful. Even though the script was written from a really respectful place, if it was not directed and then acted and then everyone on set carried how
Mhm.
important it was that we show this as accurately as possible to make the audience uncomfortable. It
Yeah.
was not a thing that is funny. It was not a thing that was glorified. But some people on set would have had an awkward silence, like snickered behind the camera, and that throws the actor off and that throws everything off.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It needs to
like
be.
it's
especially
Like
serious
you'll
things like that. You got to treat the subject matter with a certain sense of like grace or whatever, you know. You have to approach it
fully, but
very carefully.
I think everyone knows that for serious stuff, or at least everyone in the industry knows, but I think the same thing goes for horror and comedy.
Hmm.
Even in performances where someone is bombastic and out there, they need to feel comfortable to reach those extremes.
Hmm.
Like, take Superbad for example. Like, Superbad is made because everyone on that set is comfortable as hell to go unbelievably extreme.
Oh
And you can
yeah.
see on sets that are trying to do what Superman did but worse.
Yeah.
Like my favorite example of this is Seth Rogen, because Seth Rogen is an actor who can do phenomenally on sets that have amazing people on them, and really not on sets that seem to just be there to make a shitty movie.
Hmm.
Like Seth Rogen in The Fablemans and Superbad compared to him in Green Hornet
Or
is
him in
night and fucking day.
that movie where he falls in the fucking pickle vat and wakes up
Yeah,
in the
like there's like,
future.
and this is nothing against Seth. It's not his job to create these kind of comfortable sets.
No.
Like this is other people's job, and it shows. I think Seth Rogen on a good day is fucking up there when
Oh
it comes to
yeah.
like some of the best supporting actors. Like
Yeah, he's a
some of
lot
the
of
best
fun.
supporting actors around right now. I think he's up there with like I think Mark Ruffalo, Phillips, definitely not the same level as Philip Seymour Hoffman, but there are some actors who are just like supporting kings
He's
who are
really
so good at being a supporting actor.
he's really making a name for himself too with like the writing and producing that he's been doing the last few years.
Yeah, yeah. Mutant Mayhem was really good. The studio apparently is amazing.
Hmm.
I won't lie. I had a really bad vibe when I saw the studio. I originally thought it was going to be like fake aware, where it's like meta for the sake of it.
Right.
But I've been hearing from like people who I really respect and look up to in the industry. From like my writing teacher, she's like, I fucking love the studio, and
Yeah.
I've got to go check it out. Like that will be the next series that I watch. It may be like a year until I can watch a full series, but it will be the next series that I watch.
Yeah, it seems very good. I think even my dad told me I'd probably like that because I'm really into the film stuff or whatever. He's like, that show seems like it's made for people like you. Gotta.
Yeah, it's just apparently like while it's about the industry creation of film,
Hmm.
it's very respectful towards the individual filmmaker, which I think gets lost in a lot of studio productions. Um, yeah, just phenomenal stuff. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it looks really good, and I mean, he's been he also he's producing The Boys as well, isn't he? Or he's one
Oh,
of the
is he?
I think he's
That
one
would
of
make a lot of sense.
I'm pretty sure he might be one of the producers, but I don't think he's the only one. Obviously, I don't think he's like a showrunner. But I have to look this up real quick because I'm not actually sure. Yeah, he's an executive producer. Yeah, and he had cameos in the series. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Sorry, I just got an email about my job. Cool. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. We're back. Edit it out. It didn't happen.
Yeah, there wasn't a
This is the
gap.
reality of filmmaking. Never a moment where you're not being hounded by people. Markiplier came out with that recently. Like,
Oh yeah.
he did like a video where he's come back and like Iron Lung is finally nearly being done, and he was like, I just turned my phone off for 2 weeks and told everyone to fuck off, and they did not respond well to that.
Oh no, yeah, he's been. I feel very very bad for him about this. He's been having not the easiest time getting that movie out, from what I've heard, huh? Because I
It's the
remember
way it goes. It's
he
the
said
industry.
something
It's the
about a lot
industry.
of it. Sometimes production is just like him, and then like whatever small ass crew he has there, in an empty warehouse while he's just sitting inside like a fake submarine thing for hours and hours at a time. It's just like him and this hot ass fucking thing. Oh my god, this sounds horrible, but I can't wait to see that movie when it's finally done. I've been eagerly anticipating that. I think Iron Lung would work
Like
really
that
well
is
as a movie.
that if we're not including like Spider Verse, That is my most anticipated movie right now. I'm really excited for Iron Lung. I think Mark Fishback is a phenomenal director who really could put a lot of stuff out.
Exactly. I'm
Especially
excited to
now
see.
that he is fully behind the camera. Now that he doesn't have to have massive parts in his movies, so they can be more marketable.
I'm excited to
I'm
see.
really
Yeah,
excited to see
like
it.
what else he'll create as a horror director in the
Yeah,
future if this
but I think
does well.
touching on what he was talking about with like it being a really hot ass sub and everything, I think that filmmakers always forget. I forget it constantly, but all artists need to consider it. The mental game is crazy. The mental
Yeah.
game that you need to make a good product is crazy, and it's night and day. Like, so I directed my first shoot for the uni, and everything was a little bit off mentally. It was the first shoot we'd had since we came back from Christmas break. It was like everyone
Right.
was a little bit rusty. Just like it didn't go badly or anything. I learned a ton. It was my first time directing industry professional actors. So not industry standard actors. And I learned an absolute fuck ton. But like it was just a little bit off. And if you don't have everyone absolutely locked on, locked in, and doing well enough to deliver a phenomenal product, everything like it's like a Jenga, it's like a house of cards. It will all start to like slip and fall if just one card is the wrong size.
Again, that's a good way
Um,
to summarize it.
yeah, I obviously like everyone has bad days on a set. Like I'm not saying if you're like filming 200 days of a year, everyone's gonna have phenomenal days. But I more mean in terms of like the deliverable of your skill to the set, right? Like say I'm a sound mixer. I might be having a really shit day of sound
Hmm.
mix. Maybe my girlfriend broke up with me or something, but I can still sound mix.
Yeah.
And that then gets into like on-set counselling, and every single crew member should be there for each other. There should be backups available. It's really important that you keep the filmmaking machine like singing.
Yeah.
Um,
You got to be good at maintaining stress and your emotions when you work in an industry like that, especially like if you said like you said you're working 200 fucking you're like filming 200 days out of a year or something, you know. Like
yeah,
I can't imagine how the fuck Sam Raimi did all that with like Spider-Man back in the day, because I remember when you said that it reminded me of it, that like behind the scenes interview clip where one of the his producers like was talking about how she said something along the lines of like I had a single week off while like in between making Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, but I don't think Sam
yeah.
Raimi had a single day off for that whole time. He was constantly doing something for like 3 years straight, which
Yeah,
is
it's the way that
crazy.
it goes. Like, I think it's something that needs to be shifted in this industry a bit, and that's the kind of thing that like people like SAG-AFTRA fight for, and I really respect it. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, like it's one that is really important. I feel like, but like some people thrive in that environment, but some people don't. Like David Lynch, like some of my favorites, he took quite long breaks from filmmaking to pursue different art things. Like he was doing his paintings and he was doing this. And he would come back,
Hmm.
or like there's other directors with similar stories. Like you have to find your piece with it, right? Like Sam Raimi strikes me as a bit of a workaholic,
Oh yeah.
with like the way that he like sweated through the Evil Dead films and
I'm surprised
everything
he
that he's
ever
worked on.
retired, even though he's technically still working again today. Like he took a long
Yeah,
break from directing though.
yeah. I feel like he's gonna be one of those directors that only comes back when he really wants to. Only comes
No,
back when he
yeah.
wants to give something a
But
go. When he
I
thinks that
know
he
that
can
he's
really
still
breathe life into
pretty
something.
involved in like producing Evil Dead and all that.
Yes,
So
yeah.
he's like
He
he's
cares a
still
lot
working,
about
yeah.
the way stuff looks. Um, But I think he's able to do it more for the love of the game now. Which I
Mhm.
think, at least looking at him in interviews, he looks a lot less stressed than he did 20 years
Yeah, yeah,
ago doing Spider Man.
where he looked like he was fucking dying during Spider-Man.
Yeah, on Spider Man, he looks way older than he does. He's
It
only like
seems like
30 directed the Spider Man
I
movies.
think sometimes a lot of that annoyance back when he showed it like the behind the scenes was like real, but he does a good job of masking it as like I'm kind of messing with you, so like the actors don't get upset
Yeah.
with him, you know. But
Obviously, he has to. Like,
yeah,
as a director,
cause like you could tell
you're the guy with
sometimes
the
that he's
actors.
like feeling it, where he's just like, okay, please don't fuck it up again. Or like I would
Yeah.
love when he would like rip into Tobey Maguire, you know, Just like you see those
Oh,
clips where he's just
yeah,
like,
it gets more and more as the movies go on and they spend more time
yeah.
together as well. It so clearly comes from like a
He's
place of
like,
trust.
oh, I told you to say the line on the paper, but you just won't. The hell's that about? It's just so fucking mean to
It's
him. It's
so
great.
good. It's so good.
Oh man,
That's the
yeah.
kind of vibe that I would love when I'm directing. I might be directing like maybe next year. I have a
Oh hell
script
yeah,
that I'm
dude.
working on with a co-director because I think I will thrive better as a co-director. I'm very performance
Oh, I
focused,
feel
which
that
means
completely too. Um,
I
co
have previously let a lot of shit slide that in hindsight should not have slid.
I'm good. I'm glad that the industry as a whole recognizes co-directing as more of a thing you can do now. Because I know like 20, 30 years ago, you could still co-direct with people, but like the studio was like confused about that idea. You know,
Yeah.
they were
Oh
like,
my god.
what
Yeah.
do you mean two guys directed this movie? What is that? What are you talking about? It's like we're both in charge of this movie. But no, they're like, no, that's not how that works. There's a director.
Yeah.
You don't get two.
They just don't want to pay more money.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, and it's like now you have actual. I see director duo like proper duos that work together all the time, like Radio Silence, who did the Scream movies and Abigail and all of that.
Yep. The Daniels.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big one, and I think just recently too, Finn Wolfhard from from Stranger Things and all that.
What?
He
Whoa! I've not heard of this.
Yeah, he just released a horror comedy in theaters called Hell of a Summer. His co-director's name is Billy Brick or something, and now they just got fucking listed to do a remake of fucking Idle Hands, which is crazy to me. I never thought that they would do like a modern interpretation of Idle Hands, but I'm kind of curious to see what that would look like, even if it's kind of bad. It's not like the original Idle Hands is a fucking masterpiece either, though.
Yeah.
It's a stoner horror movie, it's kind of stupid. But yeah, like that's a new one that I just saw emerge too. Because I feel like I would be a lot more comfortable in that sense too, where there's like, I've always been good with that kind of thing. Where like, me and my friend Drist both, we both run that gaming channel together, and that's because we've both been kind of creatively in sync with that kind of shit before we ever like long before we ever started this YouTube channel. We've been talking about directing and all of that, like co-directing for years now, probably like 4 years now that we've been talking about doing that all the time. So hopefully we both have some kind of future in that. Doing some shorts, would be nice for the channel. So we've talked about that a few times too, just doing some shorts, fun horror shorts and stuff, and probably just posting them directly to Auburn Rats, because why the fuck not? It's a platform.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. God. Oh, seems so much fun. So I like so after last night, I'm so back in like the filmmaking swing. Like there was a bit while producing this. Like I've realized I'm not a big fan of producing films. The fact that like everything needs to be done by a certain day is
Yeah,
pressuring as fuck.
producing's pretty stressful.
Um,
That's a lot that you have to keep track of and make sure
it's
like
not
go
like yeah.
smoothly.
It's not that I have to keep track of it, but with the lessons that I've learned, I would definitely do it again for a script that like I fully believed in and for a director that I fully believed in, like this one was. But like I would not do this as a job. Like I would
Oh
not do this as a
no.
full-time job. I would do this to help things get made, but fuck like having a shit script passed along and being told by a studio, you want to get paid? Make this movie happen.
Yeah, like I don't want to be like a full blown working my ass off producer. If anything, I would want to
God,
be one of
man.
those directors who's just like, here's some money to help you out. Like
Yeah,
how
fully.
like
Like I would love to be a producer for my own stuff
oh
as
my
well.
bad,
Like
I
if I
bumped
do
my
that
mic.
film next year.
Like James Wan does that a lot too, where he's just like not necessarily involved in the creation of the movie or whatever, or even really there on set. He's just like, here's a big fucking load of money, go make the movie, and then my name will also be in the trailer.
Yeah,
Like
no,
the
that'd
the
be fucking
monkey
awesome.
that just came out, like all the promo. At first, I thought he was directing it almost because so much of the promo was like Stephen King meets James Wan meets Oz Perkins. And it's just James is just the fucking producer. That's all he did. But I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet either. James Wan and Stephen King crossover would definitely be interesting to see.
You never know. It might be in talks in the background.
I mean, we're getting that Edgar Wright Running Man movie this year. I'm really
Oh, I'm
excited for
so
that.
excited. It wrapped production not too long ago.
Uh
I'm so
huh.
fucking excited.
That one
Please.
is, those are easily my top three most anticipated movies this year. Is like 28 Days Later, Superman, and then that, because Edgar Wright. I know this is kind of a basic answer, especially for people our age, but Edgar Wright's probably my favorite director. If I had to like pick, because there's a lot of people I
Yeah.
love in their work and stuff. It's just that his had such a huge, noticeable impact on me my whole life. Because I saw Shaun of the Dead when I was like 5, way younger than I should have been watching that shit. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've loved
Oh
his
no, it's
movies
fucking
ever since.
incredible.
Dude, I don't think I told you this, but I actually got a hate comment about that recently. It was the funniest thing ever. Someone went on my like 4-year-old Shaun of the Dead video where I said that in the beginning that I watched it when I was a little kid, and he called me a liar. He got really,
A
really
liar?
mad, and he was like, "You fucking liar! You did not watch this movie as a little kid. You watched it like a teenager, like as a teenager, like the rest of us." He's like, "You're not badass. You're just trying to sound badass." And I'm like, "What?" And then he moved
What?
over to my
That's
Resident. He
ridiculous.
moved over to my Resident Evil 4 video, the newer one, and he said like the same thing pretty much. He was just like, "Again, dude, nobody believes your shit." He's like, "You did not play this game as a little kid. You probably just played it a few years ago when the remake came out. You're not." I'm not joking. He said this
What?
verbatim. He's like,
Jesus
You're
Christ.
not badass. I'm more badass than you." I'm like, "What is this dude's
Fuck
fixation with being
grass.
badass?" He was so like I
But
couldn't.
he just wishes.
It was
He just
such a
wishes he played it
strange
as a kid.
comment that I couldn't. It's one of those where you're like, I can't tell if this person is genuinely upset with me or if they're just like fucking with me. Because everyone gets those comments sometimes where you're like, whoa, oh, and now this person is definitely just fucking with me. Like, it's like, someone's like, you could tell sometimes when they're just like it's like a joke or they're just like giving you shit, kind of, and you can tell when someone's really mad about something.
People are insane, man.
I get comments like that all the time for some reason. It's so funny to me. Like, I just turned off channel activity at this point because I was getting sick of it. Like the other night, I actually got
Yeah.
another complaint on. I think it was our last collab, the one about the animated Batman movies. Uh, some guy got really mad at me for not liking the Killing Joke movie, and he was like
What, the
terrible.
shit one?
Yeah, the one that everyone fucking hates. Yeah, he was like, "Terrible review. It's a great movie." And I never respond to hate comments anymore, but I couldn't help myself this time because I was already in a shit mood. So I was like, "I like The Killing Joke as a story. I think the comic is great. I just don't like this fucking terrible movie." And most people would agree with me on that. And then I ended it by saying like, "But if you like the movie where Batman and Batgirl hook up, then you do you, I guess. But like, that's just not for me, dog."
Yeah, that is actually crazy. I could not imagine that for a fucking second.
Yeah, like, cause I don't get. Nobody likes that movie. I thought that one. I was so surprised to see
No.
someone mad at me for not liking that movie. That movie where Batman fucks a teenager. Like, it's not a good movie. I don't understand the confusion either. Cause it's like he was more upset that he was almost upset as if I said the story of it was bad. He was like, it's one of the only ones where the Joker really wins at the end, so it's a great story. And I was like, yeah, obviously it's a good story. That's why they made a shitty movie about it.
I'm actually stunned.
Yeah, that's how do you think I felt the other night, dude. I was not having it. That shit fucking drove me crazy. I mean, I get so much stuff like that these days. My 28 Days Later videos, they just got unblocked again recently, which is cool that Sony changed their minds, I guess, after deciding to block it worldwide, but also not cool because that means I'm going to get all those fucking comments again about people getting super angry at me for calling them zombies in a zombie movie. God forbid.
Oh god.
And I need to find that clip again because I haven't. It might have been in like the Dead Meat video or something. But Alex Garland himself has referred to them as zombies a few different times, and
Yeah. Because that's what they're supposed to be. Who gives a shit
Yeah,
about the terminology of zombies? It's
exactly. That's what
ridiculous.
I'm like. I didn't know people cared that much until I made that video and I started getting ripped to shreds about it. Because I remember seeing that Wow Such Gaming guy used to complain about it all the time. Like he would get like he would when he would say infected, he would say it in a mocking tone almost because he was so tired of it. And I was like, what is this? I was like, it can't be that bad. Like, yeah, it is. These people are so persistent about it. Like one time somebody told me I had no credibility because I called them zombies. And I was like, what does that even mean? No, like I have no credibility in my video essay where I'm just pretty much reciting a movie's plot to you. Like
Jeez.
that's just dumb as hell.
I don't fucking get the people who care about like if it's, are they infected, are they walkers, are they deadites,
Yeah,
are
like
they
are you
what's it
gonna get
fucking does
mad
it
at me for
fucking
not calling like are you gonna get mad at me for calling the walkers clickers? I mean zombies? They're zombies.
yeah, it's all zombie. It's zombie media. Like,
Like
leave it
yeah,
be. Just because they call it something different. Like,
it's
they'll
an
actually get
umbrella
pissed at
term.
people for like referring to like all aliens differently. Like, no, that's not the alien. That's the xenomorph. Okay, no, that's not the
Oh
alien.
yeah,
That's the
oh my
predator.
god,
Okay,
that same
that's
thing
not.
too.
That's not this. That's not this. That's not this. That's not
Or
this.
people will get mad if you say like you know the movie The World's End, if you call them aliens, they'll be like, "No, they're like different." They're like a robot that comes from
Jesus.
space, and it's like, yeah, it's a fucking alien
Oh
species
wow,
still,
wow,
though.
wow, wow! Phenomenal, phenomenal. No. I think they're cooking. I think they're cooking
I
with you,
think they're
mate.
cooking. Yeah, that would fucking. Oh man, one time I was getting a haircut when I was like a teenager, and I had to bite my tongue and listen to the person who was cutting my hair complaining to their coworker about having to watch that movie with their boyfriend because I knew from the way that they were describing it what movie it was. And then they were like, yeah, I couldn't remember what it was called, but my boyfriend wanted to watch this movie where these guys go like bar hopping and then these like aliens attack them, but they weren't the right kind of aliens. They weren't like little green guys, which that pissed me off on its own too, as if aliens can only be little green guys. And she was like, and this movie was just so fucking terrible. And I wanted to turn around and be in my seat almost and be like, no, you're fucking terrible. It's a good
I
ass
don't
movie.
fucking get it. Shit is mental.
I just bit my tongue though, and I was like, this lady's wrong. That kind of confused me though, because I was like, well, that's like a million movies can go for that summary. You probably enjoyed the movie E.T., and he wasn't a little green guy.
I'm actually so fucking baffled. It just, the semantics is so pointless.
It is.
Like, yeah.
It is very pointless because it's like obviously I like it's like I know and I say it multiple times in the video. I know that they're infected. I'm just using zombie as an umbrella term because it's easier sometimes. Like everybody
Yeah.
knows what you mean when you say zombie. Like
Well,
even
who
shit like
knows? Who fucking
Outlast.
knows?
Even shit like Outlast, the creators didn't get that mad if someone called their like the monsters in the first Outlast zombies because they're like they're technically not. They're just like mental patients who have had their brain and physical appearance skewered to the point where it's like fucked up, you know? But like we're not gonna
Yeah.
fucking get out our pitchforks and torches if someone calls it a zombie. Like it's a
It just really doesn't matter unless it's like phenomenally important that they're not zombies, right?
yeah.
But not like important in a semantics way, like important in a storytelling way. Um,
Yeah, like it's
yeah, like I don't know. I think
at
the
the
line comes at like if the line comes, I would put the line at like misgendering a character. Like that's where you need to start paying attention.
yeah.
But like before that, it doesn't matter if you get their name exactly right on average, unless
Yeah,
they're really
exactly.
important. It doesn't matter like if it doesn't matter if I call Joel John or like in my help video I for some reason call Sarah Sophie the entire time.
Mm.
The video's only 4 minutes, so luckily it doesn't matter that much. But
Yeah,
I probably would have called it if it was a bit longer.
people really lock on to those kind of mistakes. I've noticed them too, where it's like such a small thing and like a hour long video I'll make, and I still have a few comments pointed out, and I'm like, why is this your only takeaway, man? From this
It's
video I just spent
ridiculous.
the last 3 months making. Why is your only takeaway the fact that I said the name slightly wrong? Like one
But
time someone got
to
really mad at me for calling Magneto Max, because I guess his name isn't Max in the movies, and I forgot about that. So I call him Max because I remember from the comics that I read as a kid, that was Magneto's name,
No,
Max.
I think it's Eric in the movie, if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
that's what it
right.
was. It turned out in the movie it's Eric. He was like, Max? Who the hell is Max? And I'm like, sorry for calling him by his comic book name. Is it really that big of a deal?
No, it's not. You're so right. But also, to go back to Marvel for a bit, I'm very, very happy that Marvel comics have been popping off thanks to Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, that's been getting a lot of people's attention on that, I heard, actually, right? People are
Yeah,
checking out
I've
shit by
yeah,
Marvel
it's
again.
pretty alright. Unfortunately, it doesn't run very well on slightly lower end PCs because UE5 is not optimized yet. But I'm very, very happy that it's getting people into comics in a
Yes,
way. Like
yes.
people see it, they're like, "Who the fuck is Squirrel Girl?" And I get to tell people, "Well, Squirrel Girl is actually a superhero with the power that if she believes she'll win, she'll win." And they're like, "That sounds stupid," and I'll be like, "Read the comic and find out."
I love
Or
telling
Namor,
people
or yeah.
I love telling people that Squirrel Girl was almost gonna get a TV show if they know who she is because they get so disappointed that it got canceled. It's just a mean thing I
Yeah,
love to do sometimes though, where my friend Driss was like, "Oh, I love Squirrel Girl," and I was like, "She almost got a TV show with that one girl from the fucking like whatever commercials," and he was like, "Fuck you. Why'd you have to tell me that? Why'd you have to tell me about the canceled Squirrel Girl show?"
projects that almost happened are always the worst to hear
Oh,
about.
heartbreaking shit.
It is heartbreaking.
There's so many that I'm just like I'll forever be disappointed that never came to be. The
Yeah.
one that's on my mind right now for some reason isn't a failed project, but it was almost one. Blue Beetle. I'm so grateful that that movie even exists because
Yeah,
there's
me too. It's good.
it almost died like several times in production, especially when they sold DC. But then James Gunn decided to release it on Max and in theaters in 2023 instead of just canceling it completely. Because knowing Warner Bros, they would have probably just used it as a tax write-off like Batgirl. But
But Coyote versus Acme is
yeah,
actually
yeah,
coming
yeah,
out.
yeah. I saw that.
I
That's
only found
hype.
out the other. Sorry, I only found out like 3 days ago that it's called Acme and not ACME, and I feel so stupid as a child that I've been calling it ACME for like 12
Oh
years.
no,
Since I was like five.
sorry. It's easy to do that though because it's like, why wouldn't you read the acronym as an acronym? It's not your
I'm
fault.
guilty for that for all sorts. Like, I forget, there was all sorts of things as a kid that were like acronyms. I'd always read them spelled out for some reason.
Right.
Um, but
Oh
yeah,
fuck.
so I'm very, very glad that that's coming out. I hope that, so at least as of time of recording, it's still under talks if it's going to get an international release or just a US release. Please get an international release. I'll be there day one. I will be there day one for
I
Cody
hope for
versus
your sake
Acme.
that they get an international release, or I'll just cam rip it for you if not.
Yeah. Well, even if it ends up being what they normally do, where it's like a month later out here, I'll take a month
Yeah.
later. I don't give a shit if I'm spoiled and everything. I don't give a shit if someone leaks it on Twitter day one and I watch it all in the Twitter
Oh
player.
man, that's got to be
Um,
annoying. I've never even really thought about that. I'm sorry, just like certain movies coming out a little bit later in your country, just like having to avoid
it's
spoilers for
never
like a
that
month.
it's never that bad. Well, luckily, all of the social medias that I use have like blocking
Yeah, yeah,
term
you can
tags,
block.
like
Before I
Twitter,
deleted
Blue
Twitter,
Sky,
dude,
Instagram.
I blocked Spider-Man and everything involving the word Spider-Man back when Spider-Man 2 came out because
Yeah.
I didn't play the game on release and it's been almost 2 years and I still haven't played that game, but I haven't had like any of it spoiled for me yet. So I feel like that's pretty impressive for 2
Good.
years.
Give it a go before you get it spoiled for you. It's a good game.
I need to get around to it. I know, it's just I
I
just haven't.
the day that those screenshots for Spider Verse 3 came out, immediately blocked everything. I
Oh
even
yeah, you
blocked
fucking
creatives' names. If Phil Lord and Chris Miller make a new movie in that amount of time, I will not be hearing about it because I've blocked them. I don't hear anything about them. I don't hear anything about anything Spider-Man related right
just
now. I've got
fucking
like every single Spider-Man term that I could in
save.
case like a corner of a screenshot has a character
Yeah,
in it,
that's
and
what I
therefore
did
I had
too.
to
I
see
was
another
there
screenshot.
removing words like Peter Parker. I got rid of the name Peter. It's just gone from my Twitter
Yep.
vocabulary.
Not heard about any kind of Peters. I'm not heard about any shocking things going
I'm
on.
not,
It's like what shocker,
oh, that's a
just in
great quote
case.
for some reason. I'm not hearing about any kind of Peters.
Yeah, not heard
No
about any kind of
Peters
Peters. Not
from
heard about any kind of Mileses. No Gwens. No Hobies.
nothing, nothing, nothing.
No Miguels. If if Coco 2 gets announced, I'm not gonna fucking hear it. Yeah,
Oh fuck,
I've
dude.
taken that shit seriously. I've seen 4 screenshots. I don't want to see a single thing till the movie comes out
I
now.
get you completely, but honestly, like part of the reason I haven't gotten around to Spider-Man 2 yet is because in all honesty I still haven't convinced myself to buy a PS5 after what 5 years now, because like there's been
Yeah,
times where I want to, but it like I don't like I just don't have that urge at all. My bad, I keep tapping the mic in accident. I don't have the urge at all because as of things right now there's really nothing that I'm like desperately fiending to fucking play, you know? And I've
yeah,
heard all the criticisms about PS5 and all that, and I'm just not entirely sure I want to get it at this point as well, considering Sony is already saying that it might be nearing the end of its lifespan or something, which is crazy to
mm,
me. It feels like it's not that new. I mean not that old, but whatever. I just like I'll
yeah.
probably end up
I don't
getting
get
it.
it.
Uh, I guess if GTA 6 still comes out this year, I might end up getting it just so I could play that because my computer is not strong enough for a GTA 6, obviously. But
Yeah,
other than that, I just haven't like there's that I haven't gotten around to it yet. And that, but like I'm sure I'll really enjoy Spider-Man 2 when I do get to play it. That's kind of the nice thing about the fact that I keep putting it off still though is that when I eventually do get a PS5 or something, I'm gonna have a fuck ton of new games to check out, man. Because I just
yeah,
like
yeah. That'll be
didn't
good.
play any of them. And like I haven't been keeping up with new games that well anyway. Like to the one of the newer games that I've been playing a lot of was Elden Ring, and that already came out on PS4 as well. So I didn't even think about getting a PS5 for Elden Ring, you know, because it actually runs surprisingly good on the PS4. I was surprised by that a little bit.
Yeah, I think the PS4, like, I don't know. I'm always like with new gaming consoles. I'm always so out of the loop. I just don't follow it.
I get what you mean. I don't really follow it anymore either. I've been kind of falling out with games in general. It's been a lot more movies the last couple of years for me, as I'm sure it probably is with you too. More making them and figuring out shit. And I'm just over here like, ooh, what next horror movie's gonna come out that I want to go see?
Hey, watching movies is just as good. Don't put yourself down just because you're watching stuff and not making as much stuff. I've been following out like AAA games. I have no idea what's going on with any studios, but I've been following a lot of indie devs.
I
Like I've been
definitely
feeding itch.io demos, and I've been having an absolutely great time with it.
I definitely need to get into making short films and stuff like that more often with because especially since I'm in a decent position where like I don't it's not like I have a lot of money to do something like that with or a lot of crew or something obviously, but like the people I do know and like have in my circle are like surprisingly very willing to help with that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, I would absolutely go for it. Use what you've got around you, because then that could be like a pathway to learning some phenomenal skills, and then one day you might be working it. You know,
Yeah, exactly. Like
every opportunity you've got.
my girlfriend Avery is so insanely supportive about that stuff for some reason. Like I just like, remember we were walking around this abandoned farmhouse that's not far from our town that we occasionally go to because it's like I just think it's cool and it has like a very good setting for like a low budget horror movie or something, you know. We were kind of like looking around at some of the spots and like brainstorming of like things that we could do with like an indie horror movie with the space and all that. And there's this like massive hole in the ground that goes under like this dirt pathway that's like it's like a storm drain, you know. So it's a huge tunnel with like filled with like mud and water and shit. And I jokingly said like, "Oh, I should force someone to climb through that for the movie," and she'd be like, "I'd do it." I'm like, I'm not fucking making
Uh,
you climb through a fucking storm drain, Avery, but thank you for
Shout out
offering.
Avery. Awesome shit. We love that.
Oh,
We love
Avery's
help
a
support
fucking trooper,
hobbies.
dude. Though she definitely would do like a bunch of crazy shit just for like a short
You
film
need that. You
production.
need that. Like, That if you've got an actor that dedicated doesn't even want money, use that shit. Use that
Yeah,
shit.
I'll become a psycho
Yeah.
director about it too, like the guy who made Exorcist. I'll just be fucking.
No, no, I don't. Oh
You
God,
know
no.
exactly what I mean, don't you? Where he'd be like,
Yeah, but like but you could
that guy
be
was
friends and have your actors work for free without
that guy was
without forcing
fucking
them throughout.
crazy. That guy was such a
Yeah,
like. They
so
they say that they love him though. The people who acted in that movie said they love him, but he's crazy.
Stockholm syndrome, it's real.
Yeah. Because like, do you ever see like when when the woman gets like thrown, the mom gets thrown to the ground and like she like screams in agony or whatever, and that was like a real
Yeah,
scream or something because they yanked her so
yeah,
hard
because
with the
like
rope. Like what a dick he saw, like where she was like, I think this guy's pulling too hard. I think you're really gonna hurt me from yanking me with this rope, and he was just like, oh, but it's not gonna look real if I don't yank you
I
this
hate that
hard.
excuse so much. Like,
Yeah.
I'm terrified. I respect Tarantino a lot, but I hate the fact that he feels the need to choke people out. Like,
Wait, who
just
does
don't.
that?
It doesn't. Like, there's no Tarantino. So it's both. I think it's Kill Bill and Inglourious Bastards. Both times you see someone they get choked to death, but in the movie, but they obviously only get choked.
But they get
a
choked
bit
out for real.
on
That
screen.
is weird. I never knew about that.
It's Tarantino both times because the actor who's supposed to do it is way too uncomfortable.
Yeah,
So
he's probably
Tarantino has to
fucking.
be like, hey, they go to a room and they're like, Tarantino's like, hey, I want one take where I choke the fuck out of you.
He's probably
And,
into
but
that shit, like as well as like the feet thing, because
probably,
he's
yeah,
super
yeah,
apparent and doesn't really hide the fact he like sprinkles his weird fetishes into his movies all the time.
yeah. Like I love Tarantino's films, and I'm fine
Hmm.
with the way that he goes about it. I do think it's entirely unnecessary, but he doesn't just like force it on them.
Oh
He gets
yeah,
them into a room and he's
I
like,
love
if
a
you're
lot
not
of his
comfortable, we
movies
don't do
too,
it.
but it's just there's certain
Yeah,
choices he's made in the past where it's like, oh my god, like the thing with
yeah.
Uma Thurman and where he like endangered her life on the set of Kill Bill 2 or
But
whatever.
yeah, but he regrets that so
I,
much. Like he
I I'm
talks about
glad
that all the
that like
time.
I appreciate that he does and he at least took responsibility from that since then and they've like made up from what I heard. It's just because so many other directors absolutely show no empathy about that kind of shit like that. I don't remember
Yeah,
his
it's
name, but
fucked
that
up.
guy who had his crew filming on a train track and they had like a hospital bed out there. You might have heard this story before, but
Oh my god, no, we
yeah.
had a producer come in and tell us about the story about how like, someone fucking died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody got because the bed got hit and it like exploded, and then one of the
Splintered,
shards like impaled
yes.
somebody, and he never like apologized or took any responsibility for it. And in fact, he actually went back to the studio a few months later and was like, "Okay, so can I finish the movie now?" And they're like, "What? No,
No, like, no, you need to go to prison.
you got someone killed, you fucking twat. You're not finishing this movie."
Yeah, it's insane, and also like so much of it. Like the producer that we had come in told us the entire story. He wasn't on it, but he thinks about it a lot.
Oh yeah.
He's a very paranoid producer, so he like actively hunts horror stories so he can learn how to avoid them.
Yeah, exactly. And that destroyed that
Which
director's career in a
is
way too, which is
honestly,
good.
that probably
That guy's career is
what
over.
happened to me. Yeah, I'm so
Who
glad.
was the
Like,
producer
it's
in
just
question?
filmmaking's never work it. The producer that we had come in, I wrote his name down. Give me a second. He's a phenomenal producer. He mostly does independent stuff, so you definitely ain't heard of. But he was really, really great at getting everything sorted.
I kind
That's
of
the
I kind
wrong
of
page.
respect that he seeks out information about this kind of shit because it's good to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's good to know these things even if the way you find out is scary and uncomfortable. At least now you know for the safety of
Yeah.
sake of like everybody else that you've ever worked with, you know.
Yeah, his name is Daniel Conrad Cooper, and he runs a website called Rather Good Films.
Hell yeah,
He has
dude.
a little production company, mostly focused around like dark comedies. And he was really transparent. He was like, "Do you want to know why I'm here? I'm here for money. It's the off season. I don't make any movies right now, so I've got this big PowerPoint, and we're gonna go through it. Take pictures of the PowerPoint if you want, because I'm not gonna put this online anywhere." So just fully upfront, out the gap. I was so respectful. I loved it so much.
I love that kind of energy. I respect that he's just fucking brutally honest about it. It makes me
Yeah.
want to learn more almost when people can be honest and straightforward with that shit instead of like coming in like, "Oh right, who's ready to learn about filmmaking safety?" I love making
But
movies.
even
He
learning
just
about
comes in
filmmaking
like,
safety,
"Okay."
Yeah, he came in fully like there and open for it, and I feel like that's really important because the issue with filmmaking, I think the plague that affects filmmaking right now is a lack of genuineness. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
can always tell when films are pandering to us. We can
Yeah.
always tell when you're on a set and people are like faking the enjoyment.
You can tell that
So I think that level of honesty is so important.
a lot of movies aren't trying to be like this own creative vision by like the person who made it. You can tell a lot of movies are trying to replicate the vibe of something else. Like there's so many
Yeah.
like movies I see now where I'm like, this is fucking pure Oscar bait type movie, where it's like just such a nothing sandwich, but it presents itself as
Yeah.
something so much more grand. Like it presents itself in a way that makes you think for a second that it has something to say, but it really doesn't. Or I see a lot of, as like someone who's pays a lot of attention to horror too. There's a lot of people in horror right now who seem to be trying to shoot for like the I'm just like Jordan Peele. Look at my my movie's like Get Out type thing. You know what I mean? Like this horror movie is gonna make you think, or this one's gonna be like the next. This one's gonna stick with you forever, and it's just actually kind of standard because you know what I mean. They're trying too hard to come up with something that's different and stands out in the horror genre, and in a way, it just kind of makes it feel even more generic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't just get the creativity of someone like Jordan Peele overnight. That
No,
just
no, you
you
do
that
not.
that
It's
that
and
happens
also
once in a
like
blue moon.
yeah, and also you should never try to do it to be someone else. You should do it to
Hmm.
be you. Even if you're like taking inspiration from something else, it should still be your end result.
Yeah, I always try to pay attention to that too, where I'm like, I need to remember that it's fine to take influence, but I don't want something to be derivative of something else. Like is it going past a point of I'm inspired by this to just like it's the same thing but kind of different, or like what? Because I've had things like that before where I take too much inspiration and it's like, well, this just kind of feels like almost like I'm copying them when I'm definitely that's not what I was trying to do, but it's like I'm pulling too much inspiration from the things that I'm into and all that. Some of them have been on accident though, like the movie. Have you seen Smile 2 yet?
Sorry, what? Sorry.
Smile 2, the horror
No,
movie.
but it actually looks pretty good.
Oh, I couldn't recommend it more. It's great, super cool. But I watched that movie and I was like, oh, fuck me. I unintentionally, because like I watched that movie just like a month ago, but this movie that I wrote like a year and a half ago called Terry Through Time, it's like a time travel based horror movie, has a lot of thematic similarities to Smile, and it's completely by like coincidence, but it's like good thing I didn't fucking like try to like sell this as its own thing now that Smile is big, because like they would have been like, this is just Smile, and I would have been like, no, I swear I did not see Smile when I came up with this. No, not like horror theme. I just mean more like the character themes, I guess, is what I mean. Like, because the main character of Smile is this famous pop star who's kind of like a wash up, crash out, who has this like bad backstory, and it was surprisingly similar to like what happened to my character that I wrote. So I was like, Jesus, this is really fucking unfortunate coincidence that
Yeah.
that movie ended up doing like similar to what I wanted to do, but better than what I had in mind. Because that was more like what I wanted. Like you know that feeling when you're like, I have this gut thing, but I don't know how I'm gonna put this onto the fucking paper exactly. Or like, it's almost like I wish I could just take it directly from my head and show it to people, because otherwise I'm probably gonna fuck up the execution of this.
Yeah.
Oh god. But I didn't. Oh
Well,
fuck. This has been going for almost an hour as well. So just
yeah,
realized.
we did an entire part two. Start out with let's do extra 20 minutes. Well, to end it off, I will say I think you should fully pursue like doing a short film script, even if it turns out absolutely shit. You'll learn a ton doing it. Pick up like a 200 quid DSLR off of Amazon. Canon do some pretty cheap ones. Get maybe like one extra lens for it, and just go absolutely fucking crazy. Does it have to sound good? Does it have to look great? Uh, I'd fucking love to see it.
Thanks, dude. I definitely appreciate that encouragement, especially because I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I just need to. It's one of those things where it's like I just gotta hunker down and stop putting off like, oh, I'll make the short films eventually. It's like then just do it
Mm.
already, you know?
Yeah, I'd say absolutely just go for it because you're only gonna go up, right? You're the worst you'll be now, and
Yeah.
you're only gonna go up.
That's a good way to look at it. So thanks for the encouragement, man. I appreciate
And one of
that.
the most satisfying things I ever realized as a filmmaker was feeling that progression, like feeling yourself, like get. Oh fucking hell, that's gonna be clipped out of context.
I didn't even think about it till you
Feeling
said
your
something.
skill, feeling your skill get better and better and better. I just this better be behind the Patreon paywall.
No, this is
Fucking
the
hell.
fucking Patreon one. Don't worry. Oh man, that's so fucking funny. Really just feeling yourself. Really feeling yourself.
No, 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 no.
I'll post. Don't worry. I'll post this as a separate YouTube short to advertise it. You know what?
Yeah, no, no, actually, yeah, sure, I'd support that.
God, I see. The funny thing is I probably wouldn't have even caught it if you didn't point it out afterwards too.
It's because I do that thing where I like slowed down my words
Yeah,
so I can think of the
exactly.
next one. I didn't realize that I had slowed down then.
I'm really bad about like doing that, right? Saying things that sound really sus, I guess you could say, out of context. I don't notice it until people will point it out sometimes. But like when I was talking about like was it Resident Evil recently, I was like, oh, I love all kinds of zombies, and I so stupidly said, I'll take 'em slow, I'll take 'em fast, I'll take 'em crawling. And this someone quoted that in the comment section. It was like, "I'll take him slow. I'll take him fast." What do you mean by that? I was like, "Oh, fuck, that's so embarrassing. I didn't even think about that."
Hmm.
God, I need to
Yeah,
be
well, I
better.
mean, thank you so much for doing these podcasts, man. I'm down to come back on
Oh yeah,
anytime. I'm down to come back on with a third
I'm
guest.
definitely down to have
Anything,
you back on
absolutely
for
anything. This is
sure.
a blast.
It was a lot of
Yeah,
fun,
this is
man. I'll
incredible.
be sure to link all your socials as well. You can find him, Gabriel Oliver, on most platforms, isn't it not? Just Gabriel
It's
Oliver
it,
usually.
it's a bit difficult. It's Gabriel Oliver on YouTube. It's Gabriel Oliver YT on Twitter and Blue Sky, and it's Gabriel underscore Oliver underscore media on Instagram because every single handle you can think of has been taken on Instagram.
Oh yeah, that's fucking true. Yeah, I'll be sure to write those down on the screen then and link those in the description on like the Patreon and the YouTube and all that. So yeah, thank you again for coming on, man. It's been a lot of fun. I
No, I was
hope
always
to
happy to.
do this again soon.